Qapla!
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail heroes. Oh, that's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to get your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
You come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. Dare to make war, we surrender. Falsehood, important things are needed to be.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework thing. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. That means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest. With a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karoga.
Hello, world. It's Bird O' Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Open Lines Thursday. Apologies for being just a little late. Was in a heated debate on LDG's channel on some recent court cases involving copyrights. In the meantime, I have put the link to a Come Live out there. Richie Poole was first in the chat and says, "Hello, world," and says, "Today's Panda Express fortune cookie reads, 'Show kindness freely,' with a happy face." And he says he added the smiley face emoji. And I will now pin the message, the join panel link. Thank you, Richie Poole. And then he says, "Goodbye, world. I have to go back to work." Thank you for dropping in, Richie. Thomas Potts is fake news. Doomcock says Kurtzman is on his way out. For the last 8 months. I have not heard him ever say that. I heard him say Kathleen Kennedy was on our way out for the last couple of years, but not Kurtzman. Uncle Remus says hi to Bob. John DeMarcos says greetings to everyone. John DeMarcos says welcome to another stream by Late O' Prey 5. Bradley Briggs says zup, y'all, zup, Bradley. Aravic Sonder says, "I tried warning Bird O' Prey not to be late on LDG's stream." We don't read I can't read the chat because LDG's back room doesn't show any chat. Captain Track says, "Hey to Late O' Prey." Thomas Potts is not as late as the virtual pub. It's late by 18 days. Well, okay. That's at least not as bad. Thank you, Thomas. Mike Richards says, "Greetings from Columbus, Ohio." Greetings, Mike Richards. I hope you are getting your Social Security stuff in order, and or can benefit from the issues going on today. I hope, please, I hope everything goes well for you, Mike Richards. Wesley Crusher had a message deleted by the Google moderator team. Not great, Wes. Not a great start. The Google moderator team. What did you say, Wesley? What awful thing did you say that the Google moderator team had to come in here and remove your message. The Random Menace is greetings from the future. Greetings, Random Menace. You know what? Don't repeat it, Wes. Don't repeat it. Josh Street says, Lato Pray 5 is late. Wesley says, who deleted my comment? The Random Menace says, Google moderator team, are you nuts? And Super Blubberpusses has renewed their membership for a 4th month in a row as a friend of Karoga. Thank you, Super Blubberpuss. The Random Menace is Google, are you nuts? Google moderator team, are you nuts? And John DeMarco says, wow, even Google is telling Wesley to shut up. Thomas is bad, Wesley. Wesley says, what did I do? What did you do, Wes? What did you do? You have to come on. You have to come on the panel and tell us what you did. Josh Street says, we demand DS9 Thursdays to go with DS9 Wednesday. Oh, man, I wish, Josh Street. I wish. Welcome, Captain Track, to the panel. Did you get to see what Wesley said before it was?
No, I didn't.
I'm really confused right now. I would love to do DS9 every day, Josh Street, but I think, if we do it more than once a week, we get fatigue. Eastland Burkholder says, hello, Eastland. Hope you're doing well. Thomas Potts says, yeah, Bird of Prey can't open more than just one tab for the YouTube chat. I've already got 50 tabs open, Thomas. Mike Richards says, thanks. You're welcome, Mike Richards. It honestly, it bothered me a lot last night, and I hope there's anything I can do, Mike, you let me know. Wesley Crushers is Bird of Prey. All I said was, and then this message has been deleted by Google moderator team. I doubt that's all you said, Wes. And Josh says, fine, Bird of Prey. For that, we demand 24/7 DS9. Well, you can demand anything you want. Your chances of it happening, slim to none. Slim to none. So listen, guys, this is not going to be an aimless open panel as I often have. I do want to show something I think that's important I saw it on today's news, recently released just a few hours ago. And I am going to share the tab. And of course, where is it? No. There we go. Aravic Sonder with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Aravic Sonder. And Captain Track says the Google moderator team can bite him. Wesley Crusher says, Bird of Prey, jokes aside, I just said, hail Bird of Prey 5, hail Nephew of Prey, Sassy, Karoga, and Qapla. Well, Wes, I don't see anything wrong with that. I hopefully Google just made a typo. Anyway, so this news recently broke, and okay, and I was looked at it too, and I was like, well, I like South Park as much as the next guy. Paramount Plus is getting 14 South Park movies, starting with 2 this year. That's a little, I'm like, okay, that seems excessive for South Park. But they do every season now. They do at least a 2 or 3 parter. So if you turn that into a movie, I know they're not going to be bigger, longer, and uncut. But if you turned, every 2 or 3 parter into a movie, I guess you could get some movies out of them. But here's the thing. Viacom CBS reportedly paid more than $900 million to extend the series. $900 million. Remember that. Random Menace, welcome to the panel.
And greetings from the future.
$900 million for a single series. South Park, which I love. But I think there's like, what, 10, 15 episodes of South Park now a season? Not a whole lot. Okay? I mean, I don't think there was not 20 hours of South Park made in any given year. For many, many years now, it's been relatively short seasons. They're getting their contract extended till 2027. So 6 years. 6 years from today. For $900 million for a single series that they don't even have the streaming rights to. HBO Max has the streaming rights to HBO to South Park episodes. Now they say eventually Paramount Plus might get the South Park streaming rights, but for the time being, you can't even stream South Park on Paramount Plus. You're going to get movies. $900 million to Trey Parker and Matt Stone for South Park. Okay? That makes the Kurtzman deal that we learned about last week on a sad day. It was released on a sad day. You know what type of news gets released during the weekend? News you want to die. It got released on a Saturday that Kurtzman was making an estimated $156 million for 5 more years of Secret Hideout. So that is around $30 million a year for all of Secret Hideout. Alex Kurtzman, all of Secret Hideout, 5 different Star Trek concurrent 5 different Star Trek series, plus everything else Secret Hideout does for CBS All Access for Paramount Plus, which is dozens, maybe a dozen different series and specials and movies and whatnot. $156 million. Compared to $900 million, just shy of $1 billion fucking dollars for South Park. I like South Park as much as the next guy, but this is ludicrous. Ludicrous. Either an actual monkey is in charge at Paramount Plus in the boardroom, or this was like a big giant FU to Alex Kurtzman. I know they're saying don't overthink it, but how else would you be? If I was Alex Kurtzman, like, holy shit, I'm one of the top paid people in TV. I got $126 million, $150 million contract for the next 5 years. I'm the big shit, $20-30 million a year. I'm the top boss. I'm the top dog. And then 6 days later, on a Thursday, middle of the week, Trey Parker and Matt Stone, who haven't made a movie since Team America World Police, okay, who's made movies like Basketball, I think Basketball, was it Basketball, South Park, and Team America World Police. And then they've had South Park for 20-something years. They get $900 million. $900 million. That's 10 times what they're paying you, Alex Kurtzman. And it's at least $900 million that says this. At least. So, okay, maybe 8 times what they're paying you. Oh my God. Alex Kurtzman has to feel like shit. I mean, here he has Secret Hideout, this whole empire. You think, oh my God, they've got Prodigy, they've got Strange New Worlds, they've got Star Trek Discovery, they got Star Trek Picard, they have the Patrick Stewart, they have Jerry Ryan, they have a plethora of grade A celebrity cast people to call from. They've got Jonathan Frakes coming in to do guest spots and direct shows. They've got a cornucopia of talent. $156 million for 5 years. But if they had just made South Park, literally made initially with cardboard paper, cardboard cutouts and construction paper, $1 billion. My effing God. Welcome, Brandon Wolf.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Qapla.
Qapla to you. I'll make this a short and brief one because I'm completely swamped. But when I saw this come out, this should have been Star Trek. And I do think you're right. In a way, it is a big old bitch smack to him, kick to the nuts. As you were saying, Kurtzman, I'm the big shit. But now, no, you're not. Those two bastards are the big shit.
Exactly.
So, yeah, there's a second part to this that I do want to touch on. If Paramount's willing to throw around this type of money for content, how hard up are they for content? My God, South Park's fun and great and all that, but it has not been at what I would call stellar level for years. Even though it's still better than most everything, it ain't worth 6 years, $900+ million for 6 years of shows, probably at only 10 episodes like they have been doing over the past few years. And then for 14 movies, how the hell are they going to pull 14 movies out of their ass? Ugh.
I mean, there's certainly, stuff they can comment on, but I have real questions whether they would be able to even make that much content since, they seem to have been, gotten used to a very marginal amount of content.
A lax schedule. Yeah.
Yeah, very lax schedule. And like you said, it's good, but it's not great like it used to be.
No, it could be.
It's decent television, but that's about it. Is it worth $900 million? Oh, fuck no. And I love South Park, but I wouldn't pay $900 million for 6 seasons and 14 movies.
Yeah,
something's going on here.
Someone's smoking some really good shit. And we need in on it because, damn it, we all should be.
Yeah, hell yeah! I mean, if they want to pay for content, I can come up with ideas like Project Venus all day long.
Exactly.
You have to pay me $900 million. I'll take $100 million. I'll take $10 million a year. We can do bargain basement rates.
Say someone must be doing a reach around or something like that with these guys to make them give them that much money. There's nothing in this world that, at least in my mind, and I have more of a layman's knowledge of how business works, but even just on the cursory, minute or 10,000 mile up view, this looks stupid. This looks like a stupid amount to pay for this. I can't imagine them ever making that type of money back up, whether they show it on Comedy Central, whether it's exclusive to Paramount Plus, or whatever the deal is. I can't see them making money on it.
I mean, just simple math. $900 million.
150 million per year.
They would have to have 90 million people sign up for Paramount Plus at the $10 per year level. So that's the commercial free level to even break even.
And they're not going to get that. And even if they count in the commercial side, they're not going to make near that amount on a yearly basis or over the lifetime of the contract to even remotely cover this.
Joseph, you had a question?
Yeah, the question that I have right now is, how many seasons are there of South Park?
25, 26, something in that range.
Something like those many seasons. And does the deal include the streaming rights as well for the whole show
yet,
or not?
No, because the
because
streaming
that
rights remain with HBO Plus. It says that in the article.
Yeah, for how long? That's the question.
Well, they say Paramount Plus will
contract.
probably get them, but
because what I wanted to say, that Netflix paid for international streaming rights for Friends, $100 million yearly on a show that ended 20 years ago.
Yeah, almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. So if within this 900 million was also the streaming right for the 26 seasons plus the new content or 20 whatever, if it was like the streaming rights for 6 years for
but also remember,
all the
Friends,
seasons,
each season of Friends was 20 plus episodes.
But it was on only in quotes only 10 seasons. Yeah,
I understand, but in South Park, seasons are 10 episodes now.
At least they have been for the past 5,
and they're,
if not 10 years.
Whatever.
Still,
I'm trying to wrap my head around it as well myself, because it's just nuts when you think about something that is probably revenue for a Marvel-like movie.
John Araki with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, John Araki. Sorry, Joseph.
And they are now sticking it into a show, a successful show without doubt, but still, that's nuts. Because the Kurtzman deal with 160 million sounds like a sweet deal actually for 5 years, where you can produce enough content. Creating here precedence with 900 million. The question is really how quickly will they get back basically the $1 billion. Are they trying to expand into the rest of the world? Because right now Paramount Plus is available only in the United States.
It's coming to Europe in 2022.
Okay. So, and once again the question, because there are many European countries that have Disney, but I still don't. So that's the question.
Candor.
Well, the only thing I can think of then is that they're making a massive bet that once they do go more international, that the appeal of South Park with either quote unquote normies or I don't think of South Park as less niche than I do Star Trek, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the bet that they're putting it on, is that they're thinking once they have it and they can distribute it all across the world or in more locales than what they do now, that they'll have no problem covering and making money.
When you think about it, with series like Star Trek, or when I spoke about Friends, those are all PG content shows.
That's
and
true.
With
this is definitely
South
not
Park,
PG content.
This is everything but PG. Yeah.
Well, part of it is there's also not enough. I don't think there's enough material to make all these, to make their money back. At least with Star Trek, I think they could, at least if not break even, make a profit. But there's no way in hell they're going to do this in South Park. None.
Rock Solid with a $1.05 super chat. Thank you so much, Rock Solid.
All right, guys, I got to take off and get back to work. So it's good seeing you.
Thanks for dropping in, Brandon.
Take care, Brandon. Take care. Hi, Positive Candor. You wanted to say something, and you were constantly interrupted.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this is nothing but like what you said. an extreme FU to Kurtzman saying, yeah, we gave you 156 million, but that's what we're giving to these guys every freaking year for their contract.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I don't mind them saying that for you to Kurtzman, but
yeah,
they're only fucking.
They're doing it with our money.
Yeah,
I mean, it's going to be our money. We're the ones that are going to pay this bill.
Watch Paramount Plus go up in price, obviously, to cover this, because that's definitely coming.
Hello, springtime.
They'll raise it by like another $1 or $2, whatever. They're
going to have to double the price.
At least.
They probably will.
If they're looking long-term plans to bring Paramount Plus to $20-$25 a month,
you can't do that. You can't do that. Even Netflix is already too expensive. And when you think about Disney being way under $10 a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Hey, just a quick point.
Yeah, spring.
I was looking it up, and it's not going to be I don't know if you guys saw this. It's not going to be $900 million at once. It's going to be at least over 6 years.
Yes, I understand. It's over 6 years.
But still, we're talking about 150 million a year.
Kurtzman's contract was 150 million over 5 years.
Well, they're also talking like, to be fair, they're talking like 14 potential feature-length movies versus, to be honest, Secret Hideout making a bunch of shows, mostly like Star Trek, and other properties. So
yeah, but each season of like Discovery or Picard, I mean, the quality that the video, it's filmed. Those could easily be 2 or 3 feature films in terms of the production quality.
Yeah,
but my theory personally is that, first and foremost, we only have the articles to go by. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm pretty sure Paramount has great credit, so taking out a bank loan for $900 million may be surprisingly easy for them, unlike the rest of us. Just give me a couple of $1 million, Paramount, and I'll make the next show that will get Bird of Prey the heart attack he's been waiting for when it comes to Star Trek. Please, I could use the money.
How many? The question is, how many financial problems did Paramount have in the past? Because they had serious financial problems, if I remember correctly.
What I'm basically just saying is that, unlike the rest of us, I'm just saying that because they do make money, one way or the other, they probably have an easier time getting a loan than, honestly, the rest of us.
I'm sure they'll get a loan, but they still got to pay it
pay
back
up the loan.
And I'm not trying to like prove a point. I'm just
no. It's completely fine, because we are here basically bamboozled, all of us here, and
I agree. It's much easier for Paramount.
What I'm basically saying is that, unlike the rest of us, the bank that gives them the loan, or the financial institution, probably is willing to take even a loss if it means getting a little bit of profit left over, and giving other people maybe more stringent loans.
I don't think.
I'm basically just saying that Paramount probably has an easier time getting a bank loan. Was a great payment option.
That's a fact, and just when you think about it, especially within the U.S. economy, what's $1 billion among friends, right? When you just think about it.
And to be honest, and this is the cold reality to Paramount, Star Trek, South Park, which I'm pretty sure they're trying to buy the whole IP, by the way. So $900 million kind of sounds reasonable, because if they can get as much IPs into Paramount Plus, $22 suddenly might start seeming, even if you only got it originally for Star Trek, they want it to seem more and more appealing just for other things.
Paramount, I mean, CBS, Comedy Central is already part of Viacom CBS. Now, they decided to sell the rights to South Park to HBO Max to raise some money. Back in the day, they didn't have to give those rights to HBO. HBO had HBO said, hey, we got money, who's got content? Like, oh, you can take the South Park rights.
Yeah.
For
So-
I don't know,
Uh,
2, 3,
So
5
really-
years.
On the
Really?
other hand, sorry, positive. Just one sentence. 14 films in 6 years means a budget for an animated movie that runs, let's say, 90 minutes, only around $64 million.
Well, I'm gonna. They're what they're going to call films. I'm telling you, are going to be what we would call 3-part episodes.
Almost
There's no
certainly.
way they're doing movies with the quality of actual movie.
I'm just saying that 64 million is not an overstated budget for an animated movie.
Not to
No,
be that guy, Random Menace, but I just have to ask you this. Have you actually seen an episode of Power Park? It doesn't strike me as being that expensive of a show, let alone
It's
a movie
not.
series to make.
It's a very cheap series to make.
I'm not saying that, but then you have
It's
to
not
voice.
literal cardboard cutouts, by the way, but it's not the best animation out there.
No, it used
used to
its
be.
first episode was literal cardboard cutouts. Then once they got the deal with Comedy Central, they made it all computerized so they can make an episode in a matter of days. And that's why South Park
Well,
will
they have,
comment on
actually.
things. South Park will comment on things that happened a week ago, where The Simpsons still uses old style, old school design. They're a year behind The Simpsons. If something happens tomorrow, The Simpsons can't bring it out for another year. If something happens tomorrow, South Park can have an episode about it the following week.
Random Menace,
they've
by the
done
way,
it.
I'm sorry, but they had an episode, when Elian Gonzalez got taken away by Janet Reno.
Mhm.
Because that was in the news, they literally redid an entire episode on the fly to include the Elian Gonzalez debacle, or whatever you want to call it. And that's literally was in like a couple of days. Like they've admitted, there's a whole episode that probably never aired. So I haven't seen South Park in a while.
So-
And I'm also standing by my statement. I think they're trying to buy or have bought and are just being low key on it. Possibly the entire IP, in which case
Which is as well within
Well, that's
the
what I'm going to
realm
say.
of
They
possibility.
own the IP already. They're going to, what they will do is not renew HBO's rights once that
question is who owns the IP? Who owns the
Comedy
IP?
Central does, and Comedy Central
Do
is
they
part.
own the IP or do they own the streaming rights?
No,
Those are two different questions. Because Kurtzman doesn't own Star Trek.
No, CBS does.
But Trey Parker and what's the other
Matt
guy's
Stone.
name? They most probably own the IP. Just like Matt Groening owns probably The Simpsons, right? It's not Fox. It's Matt Groening.
I don't know.
And then the math is completely different when you think about. I don't know. It's just
okay. I just Googled it. South Park is owned by Paramount Pictures. Created by Trey Parker, Matt Stone, but owned by Paramount Pictures via Comedy Central.
Okay. So throw that idea out of the window and just.
I just had a thought, by the way, guys. I just had a thought. So.
And Walt Disney owns The Simpsons, not Matt Groening.
As much as we like railing on Alex Kurtzman, the reality is that he has produced other stuff for Paramount recently for Paramount Plus. I'm wondering if this is a low-key stealth move to basically get Trey Parker and Matt Stone to develop new content, maybe feature length, for Paramount Plus that's like South Park but something different. In which case, that would actually justify a bigger payday.
Right.
Extra South Park, and then our new show that's coming out exclusively to Paramount Plus.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the 14 movies turn out not to all be South Park movies.
Right.
I mean, it's about the same as me saying that Did you ever see that Star Trek series called The Stand? You know, they got some hack writer called Stephen King to write a novel in the 70s that Gene Roddenberry totally passed on. I mean, strictly speaking, that was part of Secret Hideout's deal with Paramount.
Possible.
And the question is as well, who pays for everything, you know? Because writing
They're in a streaming
scripts,
war.
yeah. Because with Star Trek, question is who pays all the sets, who pays all the actors? Is it Alex Kurtzman? Is it the production company, or is it somebody else?
Probably CBS and now Viacom probably give them the money
who
to
has
pay
the contracts
talent.
with the actors, you know?
Yeah.
Just a reminder for those just joining us,
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, who recently gave a $150 or so million contract to Alex Kurtzman for 5 years, has given a $900 million contract to Trey Parker and Matt Stone for South Park movies over 6 years. So they are paying for South Park a ton more than they paying for all of Secret Hideout. And Star Trek is only one part of the Secret Hideout deal. So it's not even that it's 150 million for 5 years of Trek. It's 150 million for 5 years of a bunch of stuff, which included Star Trek.
Well, one thing about the Star Trek deal that we have to remember is that a lot of the sets that they're using are just being reused and modified for future episodes and seasons, so they might not.
That's par for
common.
the course with Star
That's
Trek. I mean, that's what they did even for the movies. They would use the TNG sets for the later TOS Trek movies.
So to be honest, other than paying the talent, the production cost probably per episode, if they don't make any, like, to be honest, if they did bottle episodes for like an entire, like, regularly, not that that's a good thing, but they've had good bottle episodes, it's going to go down over time.
John Araki says here, if anyone really surprised about this, Paramount is dead last in streaming and desperate. If I'm desperate, I'm not throwing out $1 billion on a cartoon show, you know.
And just to because this is getting. Josh Reed says, "Bird of Prey, wait until Charlie starts singing Uncle Effer, or is Bigger, Longer, and Uncut one of the banned movies for Charlie." I'm pretty sure Sissel Prey would allow Charlie to watch South Park movies.
Well, the thing is that HBO is given, for the rights they got, they paid over $500 million for the rights to South Park to show it on HBO.
And Bert.
El Deadite has become a new member, a friend of Karoga. Thank you, El Deadite, for joining the channel membership.
Oh, by the way, Bird, did you get my emergency alert message?
I'm sorry, what was that, Springtime?
Did you get my emergency alert message? I found something disturbing in your Discord.
Oh, I did not. Where did
Apparently,
you
Life with Matthew is planning to overthrow you. Apparently, like, the professor turned him into a were-otter, and now he's just going to overthrow you.
A where? What?
It's a reference. Somebody put a reference to the sea otter episode in South Park.
Where did you send the emergency message?
Oh, to you.
On Discord?
No, on your stream.
Oh, I can see it now. Okay. Springtime says, Bird of Prey, emergency alert. I found evidence in Discord. Live with Matthew is planning on overthrowing you. Be very careful around Matthew and Professor Brainy Specs. Thank you, Springtime. I will take this under.
I was having a little fun with Matthew.
I'll
you know
take
how
that under advisement.
You know how I can be, and somebody put in an image of the sea otters getting ready to attack the future people, and I thought, like, okay, this is just too easy.
Yeah.
South Park got weird.
Nicole says you gave the monster
so when does the
$350.
South Park episode featuring Cuomo come out then?
Honestly, it could come out whenever the new season starts. I don't know. It could be first up, for all we know. Assuming he's still governor by the time they premiere.
Can you do a 10-word summary for me of what's about this Cuomo story? Because I just hear references,
Andrew
but I know what's.
Cuomo, governor of New York, has been accused of sexual harassment by many women, and the Attorney General of New York State investigated it and concluded that he did indeed sexually harass women.
Wow.
And they are asking him to resign, and he is saying, no, thank you.
Okay.
Maybe they could do an episode where he tries to become king overlord of New York.
What he said was he did touch the women, but he's just an old-fashioned type person. He didn't mean it in any type of sexual way. He's just an old-fashioned type person who does put his hands on people. So clearly problem solved. Okay, that's what everybody should have said. Harvey Weinstein, Trump. I'm just old style. I'm just old-fashioned.
Why are you defending Harvey Weinstein, Bird?
He's saying he's old-fashioned for grabbing their asses and stuff, huh?
It's old-fashioned.
Yeah.
He just likes younger women. Okay, stop hating on him for liking women who are probably old enough to be his daughter.
I'm not going to hate on him for that. This is the problem when you have a bachelor in elected office. When you don't come in married, these are issues.
So some of you are saying it would have been better if you had a wife and kids.
Just saying, then the wife would have to keep him in line.
The wife who's probably old enough to be his daughter.
Well, if that was the case, at least you would know. I mean, look at Trump. He was married, but she was half his age? Maybe not half, but
not half, but
close,
definitely
a
way
lot
younger.
Less, yeah. And yes, Wes, it is a very low production cost show. What?
But as far as like the streaming thing, they're in a streaming war because streaming services are now the new cable providers. So the more content they can get, the more reason you have to subscribe to them, regardless of cost. If they get enough good content in, $20 is going to start seeming more and more reasonable. And anybody who says that's never going to be the case, honestly, either never had cable or just doesn't
I'm not going to
understand
say it's never going to be the case, but the fact that they're planning on that already is what's disturbing, because I already think the $9.99 I pay them a month, when I do pay them,
Bird, how I want to describe it is, I should probably describe it better. So just imagine this. What if Paramount tomorrow said that unlike Disney or Amazon, that they were going to bring in the entire backlog of CBS Paramount properties, like in development and in the past, make them all exclusive. They were going to, if you wanted to see a Paramount made film, you had to have Paramount Plus. And unlike, let's say, Disney, and this part I'm bothered by, they said, oh, it's just going to be a standard fare of $20 a month. You want to see the new release? It's in your subscription. You don't have to pay extra. It's a matter of...
That wouldn't be bad. That would be something. If they brought in all the Paramount movies, which would mean all the Trek movies.
And you got a super chat.
I see it. That wouldn't be... It wouldn't be as bad, but they're not there yet.
That's basically what I'm hoping. To be honest, I'm hoping that they do go for, because if they had their entire backlog of IP, $20, I'm going to be honest, doesn't sound too bad, particularly if they got rid of the paywall for new releases.
The problem
if it's commercial free and it's only $20, fine. But if it's $20 in a year, it's going to be $30 in 5 years or more. Honestly, it's probably going to be $40 in 5 years.
The question is how many services
I'm sorry, Captain.
are you willing to pay for?
Well,
Go,
yeah,
Captain.
that's the thing. Everything's going to a streaming service. There'll be no such thing as TV without being paid for eventually.
And thank you, Mary, who says hello to everyone.
You know,
Sorry,
unless it's your, local station, basically.
And
even
Andrew
then, some local
Cuomo.
stations. Oh, sorry.
Andrew Cuomo, the governor himself, donated $1.49 and says,
Yeah,
I did nothing wrong. I'm a Democrat from New York. Go to hell, all of you right-wing extremists. This is a plot by Trump. Just ask my brother, Hail Caroga. Hail Caroga.
You should give that dollar back. He needs the money for his legal defense.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need a legal defense. He's not going to be brought up on charges. He already explained it.
I think this is, in a way, Paramount's way of saying, because, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, they really don't give a shit. They'll make content about anything, and it's very controversial. And I think they want to be on that controversial aspect to drive up their viewership numbers and stuff like that too. Really,
To be positive, I'm just going to say I think at some point they're just going to internally try and figure out what would be a good, honest amount of money to charge for Uber amount of content, and probably try to make that part of their sales strategy. If there's any silver
there's
lining,
no doubt their prices are going to go up. They're going to have to.
Well, I'm not saying that they're not going to go up. What I mean is that they're probably going to say okay, what is the minimum most we can charge and give good content, but at the same time not, remind people of the dark age of cable.
And Arabic, I don't think Friends is popular with teens today. I just think it's popular with people who used to watch Friends. And
actually, what I read about Friends and new generation, so literally the 20-year-olds now watching it, they think the series is unwatchable in many cases because it's sexist, homophobic, and it has all the tick boxes for the things that are actually being
wiped off
judged
television.
today.
Yeah, I mean, the people watching Friends are the people who look at modern TV and get sick, much like us, much like Star Trek fans, who we look at modern Star Trek and we're like, well, no, give us TNG, TOS, DS9, Voyager, and even Enterprise. I think that. And as for the Lego set, that set is voted on by basically what are adult fans of Legos. So that's why there was a Friends set. There's a Big Bang Theory. There's a lot of stuff. A lot of the NASA sets. It's not kids that are voting on those Lego polls.
No,
those are adults.
Yeah, you and me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, honestly, I voted for many a Lego sets.
Yeah, me as well.
You have to wonder how much Lego brings in monetarily each year, in all honesty.
And in last year, Lego grew by 30% in revenue, just because of all the quarantine. People were buying Legos like crazy, and Lego grew by 30%.
No, that's rock solid. I don't get the $1.05 reference.
That's actually a good point that I wanted to bring up. Is as much as people have opinions about the whole, which I'm not going to get into, so please don't bring it up. But one thing we can agree on is that thanks to the lockdowns and just people staying indoors more, people are watching more and more TV on streaming services. So that has got to be affecting their internal thinking and how they do things. And you have to ask yourself, what's going to happen when that ends? And I'm pretty sure that's what they're worried about, in all honesty, is that
it's never going to end.
Well, that's what you want, because
it's not.
Well, here's the thing you need to remember. Bird is
Seriously,
actually
if
a
they
high
have their
level.
way, it won't.
I'm a high level.
Good.
He works for Disney on the side, but he's also under an assumed identity for legal purposes. Works for Paramount. He's worked for CBS. He has a staff position at Hulu. Don't listen to Bird when it comes to streaming service. He is the ultimate inside man. He wants you to stay indoors forever.
That is the
That's
ultimate.
That's who Doomcock source is. It's Bird.
Wahaha. I
Yeah,
can
just-
either
I mean,
confirm or
joke
deny.
aside,
Bird, all you gotta do, Bird, is just come out with your own streaming service, and buy. And then you
that's
can
the problem.
eventually
Once
buy
he
Paramount
reveals
out.
himself, he will get sued into oblivion. And Disney, Captain, you know this. They don't take prisoners. Okay, just ask around. They will
Just-
send death squads.
Saying that the Karoga Plus streaming service will
Yeah,
be coming
just like-
soon.
Yeah, come out with Karoga Plus.
Yeah, we will get, and you
It'll
will
be
call
a
it.
benefit for YouTube channel members.
And like there is Disney Plus and Paramount
Yeah.
Plus,
Do your
yours will be
Project
called
Venus? Do Maria on there? Do whatever,
exactly Jaloja Plus,
Yeah, Jaloja.
the ultimate streaming service.
Jaloja TV.
Jaloja Plus, the ultimate. I like that slogan, by the way. Yes.
Are you
And-
guys just looking forward to the news?
Up.
You're
Well-
getting a little robot-y there, springtime.
Are you guys looking forward to the news of the Orville?
Springtime, you're roboting.
He's asking if we're looking forward to the new season of the Orville. Absolutely.
Of course.
I'm looking
Yes.
forward to it. I think it's took way too long, but yes, I just hope it's not the last season, which everybody seems to be.
They're
hinting.
hoping for another season after this.
Well, I hope so too, because 3 is not enough, especially with the long wait between.
You know what the sad part is? Because I don't know if everybody's aware of this. I'm pretty sure they are, but I'm just going to bring it up for anybody who doesn't know this. What TV franchise did, I forgot his name of all things, but the guy who made Family Guy pitch?
Seth
MacFarlane.
Seth MacFarlane. What franchise did he pitch for, saying that he had an idea for a new show for it?
Oh, he wanted Star Trek.
He wanted Star Trek.
Yeah, he pitched.
What I'm hoping for is that the Orville does turn into a legit franchise.
I think it's already a legit franchise. If it goes 3 seasons, it'd be the same as TOS in that respect.
No, what I mean,
Question
like,
is-
maybe like 10 years, they do like equivalent to like Next Generation or something.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. Let's put it this way: if season 3 is the final season of the Orville, then I think there's going to be a few years, and I think when right now, because Seth MacFarlane got picked up by Peacock, right? Peacock owns Seth MacFarlane now.
Well, it was first Hulu. Now I guess it is Peacock.
No, Hulu. Yeah, Hulu got the Orville, but Peacock got NBC got Seth MacFarlane.
So they got American Dad and stuff like that. Basically.
He's got to finish. He's allowed to finish his projects on the older networks, but all his new stuff is going to come out on NBC.
Family Guy is on Fox, right?
Yes, which is Disney.
Which is
Right.
Disney.
And Hulu is basically Disney too.
Okay.
So that stuff, these leftovers, and that's the reason why I worry that we won't get a 4th season. But he's allowed to finish his work on these other shows. I don't know if there's a deal that, hey, Orville gets 3 seasons and it's done, or what. But if there is a way that we could get a 4th season, and we do, that's awesome. But whether we get 3 or 4 seasons, I imagine we'll get 4 or 5 years off, and then maybe a new Orville series, Orville-based series, based in the Orville universe, could come out on NBC or something,
Or a movie.
would be fine with me.
The question is, how successful is the Orville outside of our small geekdom? You know, that's the question.
Here's the thing that it's happened before. Like, it's not geekdom per se, but if you've seen Arrested Development, it did great with reviews, and everybody who watched it tended to like it. It just didn't do very good rating wise. And outside of at least one guy basically getting fired and one of them dying, it did surprisingly well for a show that basically got poor viewership and was relying solely on the accolades of critics and fans.
I just got a notification that what's the show called? Jesus, Lucifer is coming back with season 6 on Netflix. So, and that is one show that was too abandoned, like after the 3rd season, but then picked up by Netflix, and they are doing now season 6.
I don't know. That wasn't news to me. I knew there was a season 6 coming.
Yeah, but it's starting right now in September. What I wanted to say is that basically, they are.
Oh, this September?
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay, that's cool. Because season 5, the second half of season 5 ended only a couple months ago.
Give me a second.
Well, it all dropped at once, if I remember. It was only a couple months ago.
I'm opening my Netflix and go to, where is it usually? On the bottom somewhere.
Okay, while you do that, Dee Dee Myers, thank you. Me and the family are doing good, Dee Dee. I appreciate it. I hope you and your wife are doing well. Mamo Pray is asking.
Well, basically, what I'm saying is that a show can be viewed as an investment, and if you got a good fan base, maybe not the biggest, and you get great reviews, you might just, the temptation to say, like, basically, like, fuck the rate, like, fuck the viewership, like, in terms of amount of people watching, not the actual fans, and just treat it as a long-term investment is actually a thing.
I think if Orville is properly promoted somewhere, it will do well. I don't know that it has been yet.
No doubt. I'm just saying, like, they might view it as being a case of maybe the views aren't what they would like it to be, but it's decent enough, but the reviews are great, the fandom's great.
Though I think the problem with Orville is that it really got screwed by Disney buying Fox, because I don't think Disney has any interest in promoting Orville.
Well, they have that whole B movie series. I know you've never heard of it. It's this little thing from the 70s called Star Wars. I mean, only like really hardcore B film, like Roger Corman types have ever seen it.
Right.
Sorry,
that was it. Being they already have Star Wars, I think they see having a second space franchise as a waste of money, and they're obviously all in on Star Wars. They're not going to. I don't see them wasting money trying to promote Orville, especially knowing that Seth MacFarlane isn't part of their so-called family.
If Seth, I think the best case, and I think probably the honest, like the likely scenario, is if he can keep a hold of that IP.
If he could, that would be great, but I don't know that he can.
And even
September
then,
10.
Yeah, and even then, let's say Disney gets the IP.
That's
somehow.
Awesome.
Yeah, the reviews and the fandom would likely be seen anyway as good enough that if they can safely, if they need to get some like good publicity or just get another show in there to round out their lineup, they could see it as a fairly safe investment.
The unfortunate news is Orville is owned by the Walt Disney Company.
Mhm.
The
I'm
Orville,
basically just trying
originally
to be
the
positive.
intellectual property of 20th Century Fox, a subsidiary of 21st Century Fox. On March 20th, the Walt Disney Company purchased, acquiring assets such as the Orville. So the Orville is now, and that's from the Orville Wiki. The Orville is officially owned by the Walt Disney Company.
So Kelly is a Disney princess.
Kelly's
Yeah,
a Disney
basically.
princess, and if Seth wanted it, he'd have to buy it from Walt Disney, which I'm sure is not easy.
But basically, that would be my prediction: is that it's doing well enough that you can't, like Disney. I don't think would flat out just say we already have a sci-fi franchise. Why do we need it? They'll probably see it as worst case scenario. We put it on Disney Plus for a couple of more seasons. We have a great relationship with Seth. It doesn't do great viewership wise, but the fans are there, the reviews are there, the DVD sales are there. It's not the win-win that they would have liked. I'm pretty sure, honestly, they would love as many sci-fi franchises that they can get their hands on. But it's
I don't think they're
investment.
interested in physical media sales at all.
Nope.
Well,
In
but
fact,
you know what I
I
mean.
don't even think Orville is on any type of physical media.
But you know what I mean. If they need to, they feel they need to fill up their their streaming service with a few more options. It would seem like a fairly safe bet as long as they can get Seth MacFarlane on board, the original writing staff. They could easily do like a spinoff even.
I mean, if they could, I'm not against it. I just personally, I don't see a company like
Why
Disney
didn't
doing that.
Seth stay with Disney? Is there a reason?
He was being, well, he obviously more money probably being paid by NBC, and I think Seth was smart enough to know Disney is a more toxic company. Honestly, I don't think Seth MacFarlane and Disney's priorities align
in terms of like creative freedom and that type of stuff. Yeah.
I don't think he could have. I don't think he could have thrived at Disney, and I think he knew that.
I think what they'll probably do, hopefully, is just keep it on Hulu and just let it do its own thing. And like I said, treat it as that safe investment. Like, for example, like Arrested Development, I'm pretty sure Fox has viewed that as a safe investment until reality hit. And
well, outside of the USA, most of the stuff on Hulu is on Disney Plus. It's only in the USA where we have Hulu and Disney Plus do they separate the content. Outside the USA, from what I hear, much of Hulu's content is on Disney Plus already.
well, like I said, still, in some places it could motivate somebody to get a Disney Plus subscription, and in some places like the US, it would motivate somebody to get that Hulu subscription because Lord knows I fell for it.
Isn't it something like a combined subscription, Disney and Hulu?
Well, they have it as a combined.
But you mentioned something that it doesn't. It's not worth to buy it in one package because it's basically the same amount.
Well, what it is they have a $13.99 package for Disney, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. The problem with that is that it's the commercials version of Hulu, whereas the commercial-free version of Hulu, I believe, is $11.99 alone. So if you don't want commercials, then it's even more. For me, basically, to have Disney Plus and Hulu separately was the same amount as having Disney Plus, Hulu without commercials, and the ESPN bundle. So would I save money? No, but I would get ESPN for free if I bundled. But since I hate sports and actively want to say fuck you to all sports, I will say no to ESPN even for free, and rather split my subscription directly to Disney and Hulu. And
Is
this
this
way, if
after
I
you got kicked
cancel
out of the
Disney,
NFL?
so be it.
Is this after you got kicked out of the NFL for the unsportsmanlike
I
behavior?
never got kicked out of the NFL.
Oh, you left voluntarily because of a dispute with multiple team management.
I quit before I was fired. God damn it.
Well, that's your
Rock,
version of events.
Rock Solid says, you shocked people would pay Paramount Plus. Bird of Prey, people super chat to a certain salty former YouTube creator who leaves the platform for Twitch and then comes back. This is true. This is true.
And John puts in a link for Orville DVDs, but I think they are on DVD, but not on Blu-ray. Something like that.
Yeah, that's
was
it.
there.
That's it. Yes,
that was it.
DVD,
Yeah.
Not Blu-ray.
I haven't seen a lot of TV series come out on Blu-ray lately, so
There are a bunch of, and for example, one of my top favorite series is Eureka, and I bought it recently on Blu-ray. Just to have it because, yeah, I love that show.
But back to the previous conversation, I just want to clarify. I was actually trying to be positive and give you guys something reasonable to look forward to.
Oh, I'm positive.
And
About
we have, yeah.
About South Park.
So
Or
basically,
Orville,
when the
either
first
one.
so basically, when the first films drop, you're going to do like a viewing party, I'm guessing.
No.
In 10 years.
A viewing party? No, I'm not going to do a viewing party for Orville. I'll
Not
do
Orville.
reviews of Orville.
South Park.
I do reviews of new episodes. And I don't review South Park, but if the movies come out and they're worthy of a review, maybe I'll do that. But
Well, that's an interesting comment that just popped up.
The Stand was a spooky read.
I've gone like halfway through, like when the plague starts in that book, and I immediately, no offense to the people who made the first miniseries, and no offense to the people who made the current one, but just reading just that part, the plague, I'm under the opinion that is you can't do it right without pissing people off, and I mean like legit pissing people off. Because if you read the book, like even the first part, I'm sorry, I don't think anybody, for example, who was in the military, the U.S. military, or heck, a military, would probably not go all, like even if they knew it was true to the source material, they'd be like, you had an option, you could have made them all nice and gentle. Because in the book, the military actively kills people for no reason. And it's just like, I just feel like they've all made like valiant efforts, but you can tell just reading that first part that it's unadaptable, not even by modern standards. I mean, like even in the 70s when it came out, it probably would have been a hard sell.
Yeah. Anti-derivative Jill, I know we're a ways back in the chat, says, I'd just nix Kurtzman's contract and give it to Matt and Trey. Cancel all the live action shows and let them fix Lower Decks. Well, Matt and Trey would say F you, because that's a lot less money than they're going to get now. They're giving Matt and Trey 5 times as much money as they're giving Alex Kurtzman.
And Jill would probably give them even the Kurtzman money on top of the 900
million.
million.
That basically be like a tip. It'd be rounding error in there.
The tip counts, Bert.
The tip counts. Of course the tip counts. I'm not going to say it doesn't, but it's rounding error in there. They wouldn't even notice that they were being shorted if Alex Kurtzman's money didn't come in.
You know what, John? I'm reading the last comment here in the chat. Bert should do that.
Well, I know that they're fans of Star Trek, but one of the things that I just have to bring up for argument's sake is the problem is we all have an idea of what Star Trek should be. The problem is once we actually show to the world for all to see and you have to pay money for it, your opinions probably will quickly, at one point or another, like my own ideas that I'm not going to bring up for just because they're probably not any good. Sooner or later, you're going to be like, really? That was your best idea? Damn, you suck. I want Kurtzman back. At least he actually knew how to make a show. It's called Be Careful What You Wish For. You might get it.
Wow.
Did I offend too many people again?
No, I don't think you offended anybody.
No.
I'm just being real. My own ideas for Star Trek probably are okay, but at a certain point, you guys are probably going to start asking me questions like, that kind of sucks. What were you thinking?
I mean, you offended me, but I'm used to offending everybody else, so I don't care.
I'm
Offend me
just
all you
being
want.
realistic. I have my own idea. I personally like it, but some of you would probably be like, okay, but
And Qapla
yeah, I'm
All
gonna give Discovery another shot. Okay, at least they obviously know what they're doing.
No. I
You
would at
haven't
least
heard
listen
my
to your.
ideas, Captain.
I would at
You don't
least
know what
listen to
you're
your
doing.
ideas first. I would at least listen to your ideas first.
Oh, okay. Here's like the core gist of it, because it's kind of an enigma period. Just do something cheap first and foremost. So yes, animated. Set it around 2332 and just be like, make it more like animated just for budget's sake, and just be like, how did TNG become TNG? Because obviously stuff happened that we learned about in Deep Space Nine that never got referenced. And I'd be like, well, that would be an interesting time period to cover. So yes, another prequel.
That's the thing, but in general, right now we have a big problem because everything that would be set after Picard and before Discovery Season 3 would be prequel to Discovery.
Well, to be
but
fair,
Discovery's not real, so it doesn't matter.
Well, to be fair, and this is my opinion, and the reason Discovery started off as a prequel, and the reason is because TOS is classic, and that probably did strike. And I'm going to be fair, probably if you just broach just a basic idea, do something like 10 years before TOS, you leave out how it's going to look, you leave out all the aesthetics, you leave out the characters. How many fans, like honest to God, serious fans, are going to be like, that's not a bad idea? First and foremost, they're going to think Captain Pike series or something of the like. And honestly, before Discovery, I thought that was the logical place to go because A, it's classic, B, you have an idea of what you're working with, and C, it's pretty much unexplored other than some very vague, offhanded references in TOS.
You know what? There is so much. Sorry, Captain, go.
No, I'm just going to say, after Enterprise, the gap between Enterprise and TOS, it's like, yeah, so what? The only thing that they really would have to discover or show would be the Romulan War, and that would make a movie or miniseries not a complete series.
Well, the one thing I'm wishing they had been able to do is that they were talking about not doing a mirror universe show, but for season 4, 5, and possibly up to 7 of Enterprise, do a couple of episodes here each season, mini series of the rise of the Terran Empire as it's presented in TOS. People would go on like, oh, they would have shown the Earth Romulan War. That's actually I think that's like one of the lost gems of Star Trek. Like none of the time travel, none of the weirdness, but just the straight up, they would have the Defiant and the Empress and just a couple of episodes here actually making you potentially wait for that next episode, which is going to be another year.
There are, there are so many. You can do prequels. You can do whatever time period. You can do a show that, just when you think about it, Voyager as a concept was a fantastic idea, you know, completely thrown into unknown territory, completely away from everything that we knew about Star Trek, and they gave us a ton of new races, a ton of new stories. Was the execution the best possible? Arguably not, but that was the nature of the beast of the 90s. But still, we have the possibility to do something, even if they took the mycelial network travel. We could do something like something in a completely different galaxy.
One of the issues that I think Voyager had, and I think they acknowledged in later years, was because, okay, so like an early Trek, including like early TNG, if you miss the episode, you had to wait for reruns, and that's like visual effects.
Exactly. That's what I mentioned. That episodic telling resets all the time without.
No, not to interrupt you, but they basically said like that what they wanted to do was to make it clear, like if they could have afforded it, if they could have got the network on board, like the vessel would have, for example, like Voyager would have taken clear visible damage. They would have had manpower issues, but the networks, being pre-streaming services, were very against that idea because it meant money, it meant an investment that they probably would never get. To be honest, a payoff on it would have been if they had gone that route.
Even the better stories like Year of Hell, they did only a two-parter instead of what there could be basically.
They want to do like a whole season, but
season-long arc, exactly. And the problem, and once again, the problem is that at the end of the episode, everything reset.
Because, for example, you couldn't binge the first couple of seasons if you had to go like on a very long vacation or were cut off from communications, which I've known people that have had that problem. You would come into Voyager and be like, what the hell happened? Why is it so dark and gritty? I mean, I like it, but what the hell happened? And you're waiting for reruns that it's going to take you a while to get caught up. And I hate to break it to you, but if they had gone that route, like from the get-go, like they had pulled it off, it would have been an epic behind-the-scenes battle. But I still feel that we'd be like, it was a good first attempt, but clearly pre-streaming service. It's not really the gem some of the Voyager fans make it out to be.
But since as I recall correctly, everything was basically Rick Berman who was opposing serialized storytelling. So basically, when he was focusing more on Voyager, then the creators of Deep Space Nine got more freedom to create longer, overarching stories. Despite it wasn't completely serialized. There were serialized arcs like the Dominion War and so on and so on. But you still got, let's say, out of the 26 episodes in a season, you got probably half about the war, and half the stories were standalone stories with probably here and there background.
And again, back to what I was saying, there's some stuff going on in the background where I'm at. One of the things that I think, to be completely honest and be very objective and fair, Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks have in their absolute favor that the past Trek have never had in their favor is, even if you want to do strictly episodic, you can have permanent changes and not be worried about somebody getting lost, because you can simply point out, go into the menu, look up the last episode, press play, and then leave us alone.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I mean, like, say what you want about the quality of the series. If you find an episode you like, but they have something carried over from an episode or episodes past, you're not going to be waiting a couple of weeks or have to wait for DVDs or anything like that. They got you covered.
Well, you just explained why serialized storytelling is better on streaming services, of course.
Well, I'm also meaning like even episodic, like like for better or worse, Lower Decks is largely episodic, and they say Strange New Worlds will be episodic. They can do the stuff that they want to do, like in Year of Hell, like the most extreme example, have even subtle changes and not have to worry about you missing the episode for a couple of weeks because it won't be a problem at all.
No, I want a series about Paris and Janeway as salamanders. That'd be awesome.
Oh God.
Now I want to get you guys' opinion. Okay, so I don't know if you meant it as a joke.
Hold on one second. Rock Solid said that DS9 during the occupation could be interesting, and I have to say no. I'm sorry. It could be, but you're setting this in a bad, terrible, dystopian place. I want a good Star Trek to be about something positive, like the Orville, which is not set in a dystopian place. I mean, you're literally putting it in a concentration camp.
Bert, I can't stay silent on this, and I want to get your guys' opinion from somebody. That's why I had to interrupt you.
No problem.
Strange New
I just
Worlds,
wanted to say that.
the Pike series. This is what I would love if they did, and I don't have to do it every episode, but what they could do. Okay, so you saw the episode where they went back to, the planet from the cage, and Discovery, where they started off showing a recap of the cage. What I would love to see is them build the sets faithful to Cage era TOS, like the cage, and I don't care what it's about, just advertise it as a night in the 60s or something like that, and do a totally retro, even have film grain to match the filming styles, original style costumes, props, everything, and just do one episode in that style. Maybe do it a season special. Like,
well, didn't you see that Robert Duncan McNeil wants to do a Captain Proton series?
I'm actually not against it. And I want to get you guys, what do you guys think of that idea of them doing a retro episode?
It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. They're doing it for the audiences now, and that's not going to work.
I feel like they've done retro episodes.
No, I mean
for
like
Deep
Captain
Space Nine and
I should clarify.
in Enterprise.
He's talking about today's stuff, and I don't think that would work for today's crowd. If they can't make more than 10 fucking episodes, they're not going to waste an episode on a retro episode.
Yeah, fair enough, but
it was something I could imagine something like that.
Yeah, I like the idea, but no.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's already a perfectly built TOS set in somewhere in the country that they use to film on, or right now. I mean,
in the Mirror Darkly, they actually got parts from a fan film, so it's not impossible.
They did in the Mirror Darkly. They did Trials and Tribulations, right? And Trials and Tribulations was actually something like that could work. And it was a special episode for the 25th anniversary of Trek, if I remember correctly.
And basically, what I'm just sort of saying is like do it as a literal special episode in this.
And that would be actually hilarious. If Buffy could make a musical episode, I think Star Trek would easily.
And I need to clarify what I mean by a special episode. One of the things that does piss me off is they have to say every new series is canon. They should just, first and foremost, say that it's like Discovery and Picard are part of like the Paramount Plus universe or whatever. And for this idea to say it's a special episode, if you think it's canon, good for you. It will at least look like TOS. If you don't like the episode, but you like the effort, good for you. Past that, don't expect any flashbacks to the special episode in next season.
Yeah, like a standalone story. Yeah, completely. Yeah. Why not?
Like if it's a classic instant, and let's say Captain Trek is like, oh, it's totally canon in Prime Universe. They'll just be honest and say, like, good for you, buddy. Like, for example, like I'm open about it. I like Lower Decks, but I don't think it's totally canon.
It seems like it would go better as as a movie special, direct to streaming
Yeah, you could
movie. I
do it
mean,
as
you
a,
can't put like Discovery's crew in a TOS.
well, it'd be Pike's crew.
Oh, Pike's crew. Well, then why wouldn't you just use those sets all the time?
Because they pay perfectly good money for the Enterprise sets for Discovery, and quite frankly, Star Trek is kind of infamous for having the worst bean counters in history.
The thing is, with Strange New Worlds in general, they will go definitely with the aesthetics of what we had on Discovery,
They,
simply
And it would be
because
sexist to make the women wear
they should
those
just
uniforms.
they should just call the series what it's always should be called from now on. Same old crap. You know.
Well, and I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. What I think would probably I'm being optimistic about Strange New Worlds, but I think what they should just flat out do is simply say that it's in do what Marvel did and just basically call it the Paramount Plus Star Trek streaming universe, or whatever they want to call it. Probably something more catchier than that. And let it stand on its writing, let it stand on its creativity. Because I know a lot of fans, myself included, were like, this doesn't look like canon Trek. And if they had just gone that direction and said Discovery is in its own little universe, for better or worse, I think at least we would have less to worry about. And basically let it stand on its own. If it's good writing and they're honest and say that it's doing its own thing, I don't have a problem with that in the slightest. Nothing lasts forever, and eventually canon Trek, I'm sorry to say it, the fans are going to get old. The new fans are going to get younger. It's going to have to go away eventually. You might as well simply be honest and say it's its own universe.
For example, I'm one of the very few, probably definitely on the stream, on the panel, and maybe even in the whole stream, who says that actually, despite what Anti-Tracker says, I don't think that the aesthetics of the 60s or whatever aesthetics of the late 80s or 90s would work currently. So I wasn't completely opposed to a redesign or the reimagination of the ships, of the sets, costumes. Obviously, where they did go too far was definitely with the Klingons. That was something uncalled for. But what they did, for example, with Andorians or Tellarites, it was a-okay.
I'm with you on that one. I'm of the opinion that it would be nice to see some special episodes just for the hell of it, but some stuff like, let's say, good example, the phaser rifles. Enough time has passed that a phaser rifle from TOS looks beyond strange. So adding like an optical sight and a single point sling, because I'm a gun guy, to make fans who are veterans of the military make it feel more like something believable versus something out of pure sci-fi that kind of doesn't make sense anymore.
Yeah.
I'm okay with. And if they had just, once again, not talking about the writing, not talking about any of that politics stuff, but simply saying if they had done it as like they had been honest and said it was a reboot or a reimagining, either just a little bit or a whole lot, I think would actually go a long way. It wouldn't make a lot of people happy necessarily, but simply say it's a reimagining, and we hope that it will be able to stand on its own, and that people will like it.
Yeah. And I know that people were bitching about TNG when it first came, but the thing is, right now, aesthetics is fine. I had way less problems than many people with, let's say, the holographic technology and all that jazz. But really, where it suffers is the storytelling. That's the only thing where probably everybody will agree.
I'm with you, yeah. And I don't know what the rest of the panel thinks, but I think that if they had doubled down on the writing, actually maybe done a couple more drafts, I think probably by season 2, the aesthetics would have been less of an issue.
Yeah.
If we got good storytelling. I'm not going to get into like the politics or anything like that. I'm just saying, all I'm asking for is track that is well written.
Yeah.
I'm going to sweat about the small stuff later because Lord knows my opinions are that even TNG and Deep Space Nine and Voyager, compared to, let's say, like I mentioned, the phaser rifles, by today's standards, anybody who's watched the nightly news, anybody who was ever in the Army, I never was, but same difference, or knows about guns or blah, 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 it looks freaking weird. And it's one thing that I don't think people would mind changing, as long as the writing is good.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the Discovery writing was fundamentally flawed. I don't think any amount of drafts would have saved
But Bert,
season
you know
1 or 2.
But you know what I mean. Like, the writing was crap, and that, in my opinion, is the worst issue.
Definitely.
Yes, the writing and the plots. Yeah, that is the worst.
You know what? Even with the plots, you could make a lot, because not all the plots were like horrible. The plots were not horrible, but the execution, what we saw on screen, and especially when you think about it, how many characters did you like from the get-go, from let's say from the first 3-4 episodes? Because when I go into all the other series, you know what? With Deep Space Nine, I immediately fell in love with the character of Jadzia, despite she changed between the first season from the stoic character she was to the extremely vivid and alive
from
character.
Scientist to party girl.
Yeah, exactly. Despite everything, I liked her character from the first moment. O'Brien was an established character, despite not very developed throughout TNG. He had here and there a few episodes, but that was another character. But when you think about Discovery, there was no character that I could actually like, except probably Lorca. You know. So that was the thing. And when you think about characters like Tilly, everybody's saying how Tilly is beautiful, how people like Tilly. I don't like Tilly's character because literally, when she is the worst treated character on the whole show. I'm not, and way worse than Michael Burnham, because Michael Burnham is generally not very much beloved. But with Tilly, there is, for example, when you look at it, season 1, she was portrayed as a, and if I say something that's not politically correct, I'm sorry for that, but she was like a special case, almost like on the autistic spectrum. Season 2.
They were implying that was the case, by the way. And as somebody who's on the spectrum, I was like, okay, that's a little believable, but.
And I would be okay if they kept her like that, but in season 2, these traits were gone completely. She became a comic relief. She became only the comic relief, intentionally or unintentionally, whatever they made with the character. And in season 3, she was the prodigy. She was the prodigy who basically became for a short time the first officer of the ship, which is just ridiculous, you know.
I gotta bring up a
short time. I think she still is.
Like a character problem that they really had, that needs to be mentioned is Tyler and Vok. Okay, we all saw the 2 episodes. We all know what happened. He started off as a Klingon, clearly altered to look human. And then in the very next episode, he's a human that has Klingon engrams embedded into his brain. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. That's
part of the terrible writing, where
that
they
could have
don't
been-
know whether the guy was, and they can't even answer it themselves. Some of the episodes are written where he was a Klingon altered to look human, and other episodes he was a human who was forced to have Klingon memory put on his brain.
And here I have to correct you, because I watched Discovery way more
Welcome,
times
Mr.
than
Lundell.
than all of you. Hey, Mr. Lundell. I will leave you the stage in a moment, but it was badly written, but it was relatively consistent that basically Vok was scraped of his all DNA.
You can't be
Klingon DNA.
scraped of DNA.
Bert, we are talking about 300 years in the future, or 200.
I don't care. You can't go into every cell in your body and scrape your DNA out.
Because transporters are so realistic, right?
What I was referring to is they went from being very clear that he was surgically altered, which would have
this
actually
is but it was literally because it was then fixed probably in post-production behind the scenes, but literally between episodes it was fixed. But it is consistent, badly written but consistent. Here I have to say that. And sorry, Mr. Lundell, there you go. Stage is yours. I will shut up.
The one thing I did want with his character, which is kind of sideways, is okay, so the same actor played Vok and the same actor played Tyler. What I thought would have been a perfect tribute to the actor who played Spock, and I mean like Sarek and the Klingon commander in TNT, the motion picture.
Mark Leonard.
Mark Leonard. If they had literally just done that, as left it as like a little Easter egg. Say what you want about the writing, but us fans would have gotten the reference.
Hi, Chief.
When it would be like revealed at the end, like at the end of the series, they would have just tongue-in-cheek revealed, like, oh, by the way, the actor who played Tyler, the new security chief, played Vok. We might not have liked Tyler, but we would have been like, okay, I get it. I saw what you were doing. That's actually a good reference. Crappy show, but a good reference.
Oh, you can't reveal
That's
that at
what I
the
thought
end
they were
of the
gonna do.
season because they have to have the names
But
on the
that's
episode.
what I thought that they were. Bird, he used the name of his father for Vok. It was tongue-in-cheek, flat out, and I honestly thought that's what they were going to do. His father is from Syria, and I thought that they were doing. What?
What's up, Chief?
What are you guys talking about today?
Well, mostly we were talking about how they're giving a hell of a lot more money to South Park than they were Alex Kurtzman.
South Park is a better show.
Yeah.
What do you expect? That show been what 5 years now? 6 years? What do you expect?
Well, Alex Kurtzman is getting $150 million for 5 more years, where Trey Parker and Matt Stone are getting $900 million for 6 more years.
Well, Mr. Lundell, since you brought it up, I think it's you who brought it up. What I think happened is Trey Parker and Matt Stone went to some parties with Paramount execs back in the day. Alex Kurtzman, being a goody two-shoe, refused to go to those parties, and now they're cashing in, saying, "We got pictures, we got videotape, $900 million. We don't care what for now." Well, Alex Kurtzman's like,
no,
and
well,
like I said yesterday, that party, I could have blackmailed all their asses.
And add to that, South Park is a much better show than fucking Discovery, than fucking Picard, than fucking all of that shit that's coming out of the mind of Kurtzman. It's much better.
Better question.
Kurtzman is not insulting a built-in audience. Kurtzman is insulting a built-in audience.
Well, like I said yesterday, the bird, because of track, they ain't got no one to place him for Star Trek. That's why they still gave him 6 more years. I know he got other TV shows. Yeah. I know he got other TV shows like Claire and other but still,
those were all canceled.
But like I said, if they had someone to replace him, he wouldn't get that big ass contract.
They could find people to replace him. That's not a problem. Joseph, what's the question?
It was just a question that I had the feeling that, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel a hint or signs that Mr. Lundell may not like Star Trek Discovery.
Who doesn't?
Oh, isn't it obvious?
Well, my phone's about to die, so I'm just going to get something in. Realistically, the problem with replacing Kurtzman isn't so much his contract is they're not going to give it to just anybody, and it's going to have to be somebody who is established in television, knows how to run shows, and that's not going to be as big a pool as you think. And for us, the fans, Kurtzman has at least worked on Star Trek. How many other people who are available right now even like Star Trek, classic or otherwise? And that's going to be the massive
Booker Craig would have done it for way cheaper, right, Bert?
But he doesn't work in the industry. He doesn't have, say what you want about Alex Kurtzman. He has worked in television for years before. He's written stuff. He's been involved.
Yeah, but that's going
to be the match. It's going to be the big criteria.
Okay. They had the guy, but now he's doing the Orville. Yeah. Okay. That's who they should have been talking to when they wanted to redo Trek. No, they pull in this pinhead that everything he's touched has died. How do you screw up the Universal monster movies? Huh? Answer that. How do you screw that up? This guy screwed up the Mummy. How do you screw up those old horror movies?
Yeah, I mean, well, like I said, they had the wrong person, but still, as for track only, for track, no, who we got? Okay, we got Ira, we got Roger Moore, we got Brian Filler, we got Brian Biggers, I think it was Bigger, I can't remember that's who.
They're all working. They're all working on what? Orville right now.
Yeah, not all of them.
Well, Ronald D. Moore is working on For All Mankind.
Apple TV.
Yeah, so he's probably A, under contract, and B, simply legitimately probably can't break away to do.
Right. Yeah.
And Kurtzman is running multiple shows that aren't even all Star Trek. So
I mean, Secret Hideout is bigger than just Star Trek.
Yeah. No, I'm saying. But as for Star Trek, who can you point to? Now, the last person on my list is Jonathan Frakes. He's the director, and he also knows Star Trek. But they're not gonna get to him because he's part of the old school stuff. So,
this is what they could do. Leave Kurtzman where he is, because, like I said, for what he's actually doing, anger and Star Trek aside, he's probably too difficult to replace anyway, and not, cause problems. But find somebody to work strictly on Star Trek, because then you have a larger.
I'm saying that's what I'm trying to say.
They're getting a Star Trek franchise manager. Could you imagine if that turned out to be Marina Sirtis?
Oh God, no.
Jokes aside, I would just her, for example, because she doesn't do that.
Start smashing my head in now.
They're not that
Jonathan Frakes would make just to give you a hard time, Bird. Jonathan Frakes would have an easier time getting that job simply because he is a director.
Yeah, but he's a white man.
Well, that's true. Yeah, well, that's true, Bird. But still, he's the last on the list. He's the last on the bottom of the list. Unless you're going to hire the last person on the list is Rick Burmer again. And I don't think nobody's going to hire Rick Burmer again. So
you want to go that route, Bird? Then the only option left to you is LeVar Burton, because he also directs television.
You keep forgetting one thing. All the people that you would like to bring back to Star Trek are actually late 60s, early 70s. Do you think they would be willing
they might
to come
not
back?
Want to.
They might not want to. That's the thing.
But also,
basically
we also get one thing. We forgot one thing. Okay, where the the parameters can they do? Because I say if I say we say get John Flakes, okay, and John CBS will say, okay, we'll get. So we'll give you Star Trek, but this you can do this, but you can't do this, and that's the problem he's going to have. If you're gonna go old school, you go where we left off and Enterprise. I mean not Enterprise. Nemesis when Picard was walking through the decks, or we gonna start with the JJ shop or Kirkman stuff. That's the problem he's gonna have. He got to clean up that mess, and like I said, many times, if when Q come back this fall, if you gonna fix the timeline or you gonna leave it like it is, that's the question everybody is wanting to know. Is he gonna snap that fingers?
You can answer that before you even asked it. You know they're not gonna have Q fix anything.
Well, I'm saying
if what they've been doing is monitoring shit like the discussions like this, and then Q, yeah, let's just bring Q back. Yeah, that's another Easter egg.
I don't think Q's making any major changes. Q's just coming to say, "Oh, it's Q is here," and that's it.
Where in season 2?
Yeah,
another Easter egg. That's all.
He will be a catalyst for the season. It's going to be basically a season long.
He might be the way they time travel or something.
Story.
Also,
season long.
Also, Whoopi Goldberg. Now, y'all remember the episode yesterday, Enterprise? What he said. So if she come back be on that show and she don't look around and say, "Hey, something don't feel right. It's not right," then we know, they part of the game. They're not gonna change anything.
She is going to be in season 2, apparently.
What I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. If she be on that series and she don't say anything, this don't feel right. Cause like I said in yesterday Enterprise, we all know we screwed right there. If she going to go to flow and thinking it's not like a normal day in the neighborhood, then we already know, they're not gonna change anything.
JP says everything being utopian is not realistic at all. Well, I mean, if you look at Orville, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful universe. It's not utopian. They fight with the Krill, they fight with the Kalons, but Earth is utopian. I mean, anything within the Union is mostly utopian. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want. Like TNG, like TOS. I mean, TOS was utopian until you met up with the Klingons or the Romulans.
No,
Gotta go, guys. My phone's about to die.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, it was utopian until you left Earth, according to Benjamin.
Care springtime.
Take care, springtime. Yeah, it wasn't all utopian. When you think about what planet Tasha came from, wasn't so utopian.
It wasn't a Federation world.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. Everything outside Federation is basically not utopian. Was it a Federation world or was it not?
It's not.
It wasn't. It wasn't a Federation world.
It was a colony that went bad.
Yeah.
It was a Federation colony.
Yeah, where she was running from Surprise Love. Yeah.
It was a Federation colony that separated from Federation. That's what it was. It was a Federation colony.
The aesthetics of the TOS makes me want to projectile vomit.
Yeah, I read that.
I don't know. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah. All you got to do is replace the toggle switches with a HUD, and it's beautiful.
Hey, whatever happened to Tilly calling Michael Burnham Mickey? Was that too much like Mickey Mouse?
I don't remember that.
You know what? You have shows where you get quotes.
You obviously didn't watch Discovery then.
You have quotes where they say the needs of the many, and you have a show where they say cake is eternal. So yeah. There you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. That production value of the shows is fantastic. The cast, they are all good actors. You can't say that they are not good actors. The problem is the material they are working with. Bam.
I can say some of them are not good actors, but
Who
the
who is
main ones,
who is in your opinion not a good actor?
the people who have never acted before, for one.
The problem with
Gray
Julie,
and
Adira. Adira isn't bad. Gray is horrible, but Adira is. But you know what? When you go back and look at Dr. Bashir, season 1, Dr. Bashir, the way Alexander Siddig was playing him was just horrible.
Well, no, I mean he was an annoying character that made
he was
sense.
meant to be.
Yeah, he was
Yeah, he was
young,
meant to be.
But so
excited
was
about being out there, and he's in space. The
Mr.
frontier.
Lundell, but
That was-
from the first moment you saw Louise Fletcher on the screen, playing Kai Wynn,
the bitch.
You knew you hated her from the first second you saw her on the screen, but just because you were meant to hate the character.
But Louise Fletcher,
You weren't meant to hate
Yeah.
Bashir.
Fletcher is a seasoned actress. Okay, she's done parts like that. Look at Nurse Ratched. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And she knows what she's doing. When you tell her you're going to be a bad guy, she go, "Oh, okay." She knows what to draw on. Okay.
Yeah.
I can't believe
Alexander. He was feeling his way out with that character. Him and the writers, they were feeling that guy out.
Yeah. Also, y'all don't know.
He quickly became likable.
Yeah.
Remember when he and Miles were on that planet, and Miles had been infected by
Yes.
Yeah. That's when their friendship began. You got to know Miles. You got to know Bashir.
Yeah, exactly. Chief Kubi wanted to say something. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you guys will know that he was a third in line to play Cisco for Cisco part, and they say he was, I think Rick Berman said he was just too young, but he was great. He was going to pick him for it, but he was just too young for the part. But Bashir was just basically, he was a lieutenant junior grade, straight out of academy, and you're right. He was just annoying, and he kind of grew, as a character. They just didn't know what to do with him, because, like I said, they try to make him. I remember that episode where they talk about the genetics and the same genetics of Khan Singh. So they're part of that family. Like, are you kidding me? Are you gonna speak that low and say he's a perfect doctor because you got hand-eye coordination, stuff like that? But no, they just didn't know what to do with him.
I totally agree with what Piket said here in the chat, that in the TNG pilot, the main cast acting was terrible. You know what? The episode was terrible. The directing was terrible. Everything about that episode was basically terrible. When you think about it.
Week, season 1 of TNG has been playing on BBC America, and some of these episodes are really, really hard to get through.
Yeah. Some of them are, and because when I was talking about the good and bad actors, when you go to Discovery season 1, you can't say a bad word about what's his name, who played Captain Lorca.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Yeah.
His acting was perfect. And once again, even when they made him the maniac in the Mirror universe at the end, still he was delivering his lines, and the acting was spot on. And I think they developed very well the character of Stamets.
They have some good actors.
They have good actors.
It's not. Yeah, it's the
stories.
scripts more than the acting.
It's the writing. The writing. I'm wrong with the actor. It's the writing.
It doesn't matter how good the actor is or isn't.
Yeah.
If the story's bad,
the
script is bad, you're fucked. A great actor can't make a terrible script sound good, but a great script could make a so-and-so actor passable.
But also, Bird, he has to do with the producer as well because he's the one called all the shots. You remember, Rick Berman fired a lot of writers because he didn't like them, but someone had good scripts, good stories. We all know the story about the guy who played Tom Paris. What's the guy named Ricardo? He was the original guy supposed to be named Ricardo. They was gonna put him on Voyager, but they didn't pay the guy who wrote the script, who was wrote the script. The writer, they didn't pay him, so they were afraid it was gonna take. I think it was Ira. To get credit for it. He said no, he didn't care. They care to use him, but they didn't pay him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how they made from Locarno, how they made Paris. Yeah.
Well, I'm just waiting for season 4 to screw up something else great from the original series, like they screwed up the Guardian Forever by calling him Carl and everything.
Carl.
Why are you guys still wasting money on that show? I mean, if you stop watching it, maybe they'll do something different.
Hey, Mr. Lundell, what happened to you? I heard what happened to you.
Well, that's what happened. What you heard. I mean, let's not dwell on that.
Okay, I was just wondering. Okay.
Fuck YouTube, by the way.
But no. Right now they worried about. I think CBS and whoever runs it, Paramount, they worried about Strange New Words gonna come out. Gonna be because right now they get that head on eggshells right now because they all afraid. They so scared that we're not gonna like this because you can tell they're trying to make sure the script's good and everything, but they scared right now.
They should be. They should have been scared. Look, they heard all of the same stuff when STD was in development. Okay.
Yeah.
They heard the same shit back then. They ignored it. Okay. So I gave STD 1 season. I gave Picard 1 season. I'm not getting burned again. Fuck y'all. Okay. That's my money. You put this behind a paywall. So I got to look at this like I'm looking at buying a car or a house or a washing machine, something. I got to look at like I'm buying, heavy big ticket items.
But one thing about it.
You turn me from a fan into a consumer.
It doesn't
Think about
cost
that.
a big ticket price, so that's the problem.
So, one thing about all this, when we talk about urgent and that contract, he signed that they can hire somebody. I guarantee you, they're gonna put the blame on him or whoever they hire or anything else happened on Star Trek on his ass, and Kirkman was gonna wipe his hand free. It wasn't me. It was all them.
Yes, it was. You picked him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's
You
true. But still, he gonna wipe his hand off you and like, hey, this is your show now. I'm just the producer and that's it. Like Gene was, put my name on the thing and that's it. Like Rick Berman did. Rick Berman didn't create Deep Space Nine and Voyager. He just put his name on it and took credit for it.
I did go ahead and put in the link to Mr. Lundell. Groovy Movies now on Odyssey. It's in the chat. If you used to be subscribed on YouTube, you got to move over to Odyssey.
Oh, yeah.
He was too groovy for YouTube.
And that Tilly thing about Mickey, about calling her Mickey, is in the episode context is for Kings, by the way.
Yeah. It was the first episode when they met. Yeah.
Yeah.
On Discovery.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's the episode where Tilly says, "Oh, she wasn't supposed to have a roommate because of her snoring."
Of her allergies, yeah.
Yeah. But the main question I do see, like, I still got to go back to my original question. Who in the hell are they going to hire to be the manager shit? That's the big question right there. Who in the hell?
Anybody. They could have hired anybody. Ira Stephen Bear would have done it.
Yeah.
Man is still looking for a job. He's doing the Voyager documentary.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see Ira doing it because one thing about Ira, he's bisexual thing, so he might so they might hire him. I think they probably closer to him.
Qapla Kronos.
You're still trying to get that stir. You're still mad because they ain't made Garrett gay.
Okay, who would have really given a flying fuck if he was gay in the show? How did that add to his character?
This is what I'm trying to say, and to many people on Twitter who are actually like obsessed with sexual orientation of the characters.
Yeah.
And this is something like the only time I care about who is doing who is when I'm opening a different type of tube and look through the categories. Otherwise, I don't effing care.
Honestly, the only effect it would have had in all of Deep Space Nine would have been his relationship with Zial.
Yeah.
Would have been a little different.
But here's the thing about that. They left us with the impression that he and Zial were
a couple
in love. Yeah, they were just that close to actually becoming partners themselves.
Yeah, but the big problem is this: who says aliens are gay? How do you know aliens is gay? These people think that everything is gay, and that's what people get so upset about. We don't know anything about Calasan is what we see, but how you can sit there and say just because he's a male, he's gay? Come on, that's it don't make no damn sense. No, Odo is gay.
Well, in Star Trek, I mean, I think you could tell which many species if they're gay or not.
Yeah, but
I guess he was getting on Bashir with all the lunches that they had together.
But you're right in terms of the founders and the changelings. Is there a female species of changeling? Is there, or is that just a changeling that happened to present as a woman?
No, that's what he said. That's what they said. There's no sex. They said she's disguised as a female because she's trying to look like a solid. But there's no. They said there's no gender there. So so when they change form, they change the uniform they get. That's why she looked like a female because she was looking like as a representative of the solid who's standing in front of them.
Yeah, and then it was probably meant to be an enticement to Odo.
Yeah, exactly. You remember that episode when they found another changeling and he dressed up like a fog and
that one.
Yeah, and he changed his kind of color. And that's like I said. That's what he said, but he didn't say.
Oh yeah, Chimera, that episode. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but still, how many races can you come around and say each race is gay? Each race, it don't make no damn sense. They going episodes right now. They doing it. They're showing that right now on He-Man right now. They talking about Fisto and other crazy characters. And He-Man was gay. Some dragon, he was gay. Bullshit like that. The dragons are fucking gay.
Wow. I mean, I think I could confidently say if a Romulan was gay or not, they'd act like a gay human in terms of who they slept with.
Exactly. Like what I'm saying. So how you expect Garrett be gay if he been around humans so much?
Yeah, but once we had cross species relationships, which once again is something that is pretty common in old Trek. Basically from Spock's father from Sarek and what's the mother's name? Amanda. Yeah, thank you. So exactly. So that is a non-issue, and the only thing the basically where it made completely sense was probably with the Moclans on the Orville.
well, there's one race.
Moclans, that's not gay,
and
that would in Moclan society that's straight.
Yes,
exactly. If they're a single gender species.
Well, But also,
Are they?
wait a minute. But also, we did have one race that were very sexual, and I'm not talking about that. It's Delta, and Delta said they're very sexual people. No, they are very sexual. They hard to control their sexuality. You remember that?
Aliyah.
Yeah, Leah. And she said it. No, they can
Apparently,
control.
her vow of chastity is on file
Exactly.
with the Federation. When do you have to put that
was,
on file?
I think that was the weirdest sentence in that movie, in the script.
Yeah.
Really? Your vow of chastity is on file with Starfleet.
Yeah.
Let me check. Yep, you're right. Vow chastity.
Yeah, right. Chastity. Yeah, right. Because they say they're very sexual people, and it's something they lose control. They hard to control their sexuality.
Hello, 47 Yorktown. Welcome.
Because the whole topic, even I literally do not mind what they did with the new characters with Gray and Adira on Discovery. The only problem that I have that they didn't do it right. That's the only thing. Simply because I know that they are trying to speak to younger generation, but when you think about how young the actors are and how young the characters are, it doesn't fall in line with what we know about thrills, you know. So if they made the characters, I'm not saying even 10 years older, but make them 5-6 years older, it would make sense, because it literally, the whole relationship for me, as somebody who is married and had previous relationships, this is literally something like Romeo and Juliet. And when you think about Romeo and Juliet, how they were written, he was 16, she was 13, you know, and they had the eternal love. And when you just think about the premise as it is in context to a real world situation, you know that is a nonsense. Yeah, and this is what, for example, the relationship didn't work for me because they were simply too young. A joint thrill at that age is something that shouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen.
And once again, if they wanted to introduce a transgender character and a non-binary character, which was an idea that they had for a long time, they could have done it way smoother, in a way that basically just when you look at it, and this was immediate. They paired the characters immediately with Stamets and Kulber. Right? So basically what they did, instead of what they are trying to do, it's normalizing or showing that it is normal to be different. What they did, they basically segregated them.
Okay,
And I'm not even saying separated, they segregated them.
LDG is saying ambassadorial wing just went to the ER. Everyone, please have them in your thought.
Wow.
So I
Do we
don't
know what
know
happened?
what's going. I have no idea.
No, we don't.
But I do hope the
But
best. Hope it's nothing too bad. LDG also posted a link to Twitter about a copyright lawsuit that is not great for content for people who share other people's, even legally share other people's videos and stuff. So check out that link. It's news that might affect you one day.
So yeah. So this is my take to the whole topic of what they could have done better. Anyway, And Darren Wagner is in the chat. Darren, okay, Bird will tell it because he does it with a passion, like for the 5th time today. Go, Bird.
Bird, how did Paramount Plus crush Alex Kurtzman as your Star Trek stream title says? Well, Alex Kurtzman, who recently, as we all know, was getting $150 or so million for a 5-year contract extension, which included Secret Hideout and all of the Star Trek, various Star Trek shows they're working on, as well as possible future shows. He's going to make for that, him and all of Secret Hideout, $20 to $30 million a year for the next 5 years. Well, that apparently is nothing compared to what they're paying Trey and Parker and Matt Stone for 6 more years of South Park, a single IP. South Park is going to get $900 million. Okay, 5 times the amount of money per year, easily, at least 900 million, it says. 5 times the amount of money that Alex Kurtzman is going to be getting. And this is just to bring South Park, to have some South Park movies created and keep South Park on Comedy Central, Paramount Plus, for the next 6 years. And that is with the streaming rights to South Park still belonging to HBO Max for the time being. Eventually, they'll come back home to Paramount. But for at least the next couple of years, those will be on HBO Max. So $900 million for 6 seasons of South Park, which are 10 episodes, 22 minutes an episode, 10 episodes a season, versus 4 to 5 Star Trek shows, all of them in what is basically, terrible writing, although shot with cinema grade graphics and editing, plus all the other content that Secret Hideout makes for Paramount Plus. It's basically, if I was Alex Kurtzman, and last week I thought I was the hot shit, because Deadline even said that his $150 million contract puts him amongst the top paid people in the business. Well, now less than a week later, the people who brought you such classic movies as Basketball and Team America World Police are now getting a dump truck full of money per day more than you for the next 6 years.
And Darren, that's exactly what I said. Okay? That's exactly what I said. South Park is better than all of this Trek that.
Absolutely, it's better.
One episode,
but it's not that. It's not what it used to be, but it's certainly better.
But people actually watch it as opposed to the other things.
Good evening, Darren.
Good evening. Pardon me. That makes all the difference.
Yeah, and I've been trying to convince these klutzes to stop watching it, and maybe they'll get the message and actually make Trek again. But they won't do it.
Well, here's the question. Here's the question is, when Strange New World come out, will it be
I won't be watching.
I know, but will you think it'll be better than Discovery? And that's the big question right there. Everybody talking about.
I doubt it. I won't be watching.
I honestly don't
Discovery
know if
left such a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, fuck it.
The problem that I have with Strange New Worlds is they don't appear to be making any corrections to the production design or anything.
No, they are not going to make it because they have
Right.
all the sets and everything built. So
Right. And that's one of my biggest problems is this Secret Hideout material does not take place in the same continuity as the rest of Berman and Desilu's Star Trek does.
Oh, yeah.
So that's why I'm not interested in it. It's clearly not what they're not taking me to the world that I want to go to.
But question, Darren, this is something that we discussed earlier. You were probably not listening to the stream. Would you accept it? The new design, the new aesthetics and everything, if the stories were good?
I think
I'll believe that when I see it. But I mean, the thing is, I'm probably not going to. Look, the only way I'm going to look at Strange New Worlds is if I hear all kinds of positive buzz from sources that I agree with. So if Mr. Lundell, for some strange reason, ends up catching an episode of Strange New Worlds, and he said, that was actually pretty damn good, that would pique my interest. But if somebody like Andy Trekker said it was pretty good, no, I wouldn't go see it. If Bird said it was pretty good, yes, I would say I would go see it. If Lori Loaded said it was pretty good, you can damn well be sure I wouldn't fuck that with his dick. Okay. Now, that's just that because there's certain people whose opinion I regard as being close enough to mine to so that if they give a glowing then yeah. But I mean, even if it's the new shit's ice cream, it's still not taking place in the universe that I want to be watching.
Yeah.
Right.
And but they don't have. And but they only have people characters.
Hey, LD.
Hi, everybody.
LD, before you continue in the discussion, Bert, is 30 minutes past midnight, so is my
bedtime
time to say thank you very much for having me on the panel. But I will definitely listen because the discussion is today extremely good, and I really enjoy the stream.
So you're going to leave it playing while you and the wife?
Hey, that's none of your business.
None of your business. None of your business. I have very good earphones that I can hide in my ears. So.
I wonder what the wife's listening to while he's listening.
I was going to say it's kind of disturbing.
Just disturbing. You know what? For the next 30 minutes, just be sensual. Oh no, just.
Oh my God.
I will listen to this. Yeah, LD. Yeah, turn on your multi-channel sound. No, it's nothing like that. I just feel that I'm getting tired, so I will listen in bed. And thank you very much for having me on the panel. Everybody enjoy the rest of the discussion and take care, everybody in the chat.
Take care, Joseph.
Have a good one.
So Ambassador from Ambassadorial Wing went to the emergency room, I'm hearing.
Yeah,
something about his
leg.
Know. Yeah, something about
his leg.
I don't know.
I wonder if he has a blood clot or something. That
blood clot, or if he broke it, or if he got hit.
So you just had a shot last week.
Rough.
You just had a shot last week.
He was on the Rumble last week. He was supposed to be dead today.
Shot?
He was supposed to be
COVID shot?
Yeah, you had a COVID shot last week.
Pickles.
Freaking me out, man. Yeah, stop freaking me out, guys. Seriously, okay?
Well, you shouldn't have had him put that shit in your arm. That's all I gotta say.
Fuck. I wish I didn't.
Untested.
It's all right.
Told you should have got sucked out. It's not too late.
It's not too late. It's like day 4. What?
When
did I go? Monday. I had it Monday.
Get one of those things.
Oh man,
that suck the blood. Leeches. Get some leeches.
Yeah,
so I should go to the doctors and
you
get some
bleed it out.
You take some extra, please. No, take one more vial. Just to make sure.
Was it a Johnson shot or just a regular?
God no, it was the one with the highest.
Team
Pfizer. I don't even know anymore, but it was the Pfizer one. Yeah.
Okay.
Team Pfizer, makers of Almost Pizza.
And distributed by the almighty and
just to be clear,
CVS.
none of us are doctors. So consult with your doctor first. But yeah, good luck. I hope he's okay. So
Same
is
here.
that going to put a delay on your Rumble
Next week.
tonight, or
Yeah, we're not doing
so
the
it's
Rumble.
going to be next
Yeah,
week? Okay,
next week.
So it's interesting
depending
that
on if he's okay, of course. We don't know.
Secret Hideout did a victory lap, and it turns out that Alex Kurtzman's getting a pittance.
Exactly.
For you know.
Also, I was saying earlier about Strange New Worlds only had 3 major characters. Pike, number 1, and Spock. If you got Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper was his name. Dr. Pepper was it? What's the doctor name? Pepper? Was it Pepper?
Boyce.
Oh, yeah, Boyce. Yeah.
I get Boyce and Pepper mixed up all the time.
Okay. Yeah, and Boyce they got an African dude playing the doctor.
Okay. So, I mean, we had Dr. Daystrom, in the original series, and he was already an established guy for being in, so I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, but no, the thing that the problem that I have with it is it's just not what it should be, in terms of nothing on that ship looks right. Everything is wrong. And, we're going to have, a view screen that's a window, because that's a trademark New Trek thing. They will not show that, even on a ship that was supposedly older than Discovery, than the NX-01, they had that. So, on Star Trek Beyond. So, I mean, it doesn't capture my interest at all.
Well,
I don't
know. Everybody's gonna lose it. Everybody's gonna lose it if they have Lieutenant Kirk come on there and he get bitch slapped by that number 1. So you can tell that's coming.
I doubt Lieutenant Kirk will be on the show at all.
No, wait. He would be like a plebe. He wouldn't at that time.
Yeah.
He wouldn't.
I mean, I think on his
he might be an
career,
ensign or lieutenant.
Ship.
The Farragut, I believe, or the Republic, I think. Yeah.
No, he was a lieutenant when he served on the Farragut.
Okay.
So, if I remember that episode correctly.
Yeah.
Somebody look it up.
Yeah, it was Farragut. It was a Republican. It was a Republican.
Yeah.
Then came the Farragut.
LDG's been telling lies again.
They're gonna have to change that, of course, because Republic sounds too much like Republican.
Yep. They're gonna change it. You're right. They're gonna change that.
See, that's another reason not to watch. Save your money, okay? Another lockdown's coming. Save your money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
if the scripts were okay, I could possibly see, Strange New Worlds being okay. But the problem is the people who are writing the scripts are some of the people who wrote some of the worst short tracks.
Yeah.
So I have no reason to think that the script's going to be any better when they made terrible 10-minute episodes. Why are they going to be able to make 50-minute episodes any better?
That's another good reason to avoid it. The short trek where number 1 and Spock are trapped in the elevator.
All the short tracks that featured Ensign Mount or number 1 or Spock were terrible. All the ones that came off of the Enterprise were terrible short tracks.
Yeah,
you know what they're gonna do.
They were all written by. They've got Gilmore Girls writers in there, and that's totally. That one, the Tribble one, was so antithetical to what Star Trek has been for so long. It's like, but they don't care. They just don't care. And so if they don't care, I should care.
They're making money. They're making money.
I doubt they're making money. Honestly,
they wouldn't be doing this if they weren't making money.
Yeah.
Well, part of what we were just talking about was the fact that they're not making as much money as they could have been.
That's what you think. That's what we think. We don't know what's really going on.
Okay. If the South Park numbers are accurate, then they're getting a pittance for what they should have. Star Trek should be making a lot more money than South Park.
Should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
It should be.
Endgame
But it's
should
not
be.
because we're not talking about Endgame or Star Avengers or anything. We're talking about Star Trek as it relates to the
Same
story
shit.
with South Park, and a cartoon that's from the 90s
And
should
dirty.
not be pulling. That's dirty. That that isn't even all ages. It's generally for older people. Should not be pulling more money than a franchise like Star Trek, but it is, because I think enough people are watching it.
I mean, we've had 4 years for Discovery. We've had 2 years for Picard, even though we haven't had the second season yet. There's been 2 years that we could have had Picard. We've got a year of Lower Decks. Prodigy is just around the corner. And God knows what else is. Strange New Worlds is also around the corner.
And they keep dangling Section 31 in everybody's
Right. We don't know if Section 31
and nobody really wants it. If people wanted that show, it would already exist.
Is going to come out, in the next year or two.
And they got eight, nine producers, executive producers, and they still can't get that shit together.
And in addition to the non-Star Trek related Secret Hideout stuff that Secret Hideout does, and all of that combined is bringing in apparently, a tenth of what South Park is, if the numbers, are comparable in any way whatsoever.
No, but wait, Hawaii 5-0 canceled. Clarice canceled. A bunch of his shit is canceled.
But wasn't Hawaii 5-0 canceled after 10 seasons?
Oh, they weren't canceled. No, they weren't canceled. They just said. No,
I mean, 10 seasons is 10 seasons. I wouldn't call that a cancel.
Yeah, it wasn't canceled with just 10 seasons. That was it. Yeah, and like I said, they got 8 producers or 9 producers, where it is. Now they talking about a Wolf series, comedy series. They're trying to bring back Deep Space Nine. They're trying to bring back Voyager because they have no clue what to do. They have no idea of create a future series because they screwed up between the early 23rd century and the present century. So what can they do? Nothing.
I honestly don't believe they're trying to bring back Deep Space Nine or Voyager.
They better leave DS9 the fuck
alone. They had
alone.
no clue. They had no idea. What they can do.
I mean, DS9, that is.
Well, what they'll do is they'll hire a couple of actors from the show. They'll hire a couple of actors from the show and call it a spiritual successor to Deep Space Nine. They might get Cole Meany. They might get Rosalind Chow. They might get an Asian actress who is going to be playing Keiko over Molly O'Brien or something. Yeah, and probably not even the one that was originally played Molly, even though she'd probably be just right for the part even now. And they'll call it that.
A DS9 documentary promo.
Yes, she was. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
she was.
Should be fine.
Yeah, but the thing here they'll do the same thing that they'll get maybe one actor from Deep Space Nine, and they seem to be under the impression that if they hire the same actor, that telegraphs to the fans that this is authentic. Yeah, because Picard wasn't authentic at all. Nothing about the production value, nothing about the writing.
23.
Yeah,
season 23 garnered 113 million views.
Salty Tracker is in the chat and says the only thing they can do with DS9 is use it as a location. Well, we all saw in Picard, in the Picard trailer for season 2, they are using the Stone of the Emissary in that first trailer. So there might be a DS9 link in Picard season 2.
They'll make the station unrecognizable.
Yeah.
Or they'll establish that it was destroyed somehow and was replaced with a new starbase that won't look anything familiar.
Yeah.
That's
25%.
Yeah, because then they can try to sell model kits and toys of their version of Deep Space Nine.
Their version, nobody's going to buy.
The only reason only reason they try and bring Deep Space Nine because A1 is the only series that's more divorce. I mean, divorce. They had more different people color.
Well,
they had because like Odo and maybe gay and Dax was gay.
Well,
or maybe gay one. Right?
Well, they're not dumb. They saw how much interest the Deep Space Nine documentary generated. I mean, they have the numbers from Amazon once that thing went free with Prime, and also free with ads on YouTube. But they've got those numbers, and they go, oh, okay, so there's a lot of people are watching this documentary about Deep Space Nine. Maybe we should incorporate as much as we can into it, and they're going to do it all half-assed.
No,
because that's what they've been doing, just like with
the
Picard.
Documentary.
Just like with Picard.
Leave DS9 the fuck alone. Okay?
Right. Well, here's the thing. I mean,
touch DS9, we need to raise hell. We need to burn something down. If they mess with DS9,
we just need to totally ignore it.
About this.
Yeah, just need to ignore it, so it'll go away. I mean, that's
no. If they bring back Deep Space Nine, we burn down the H in the Hollywood sign.
Something. we need to be heard if they fuck with DS9.
They're not going to destroy DS9.
Yes, they are.
They create a new base.
Yes, they are. They'll make Cisco
go to it.
They'll make Cisco across base or something. They'll screw it up.
Here's what.
Did I finish my thought? Sorry, I forgot I was in a universe. Maybe I was in the mirror universe where I finished my thought. They're going to have a brand new base because the future of the Dominion and everything and all that, they're going to play that off.
Well,
DS9 was obsolete. It's still there. We might get a shot of it, like floating in space. That's it. But everything is going to happen in the brand new spanking Federation-made, Deep Space 9.1.
They did that in the novels. That Deep Space Nine got destroyed, and then they built a brand new station. The Federation did, only they tried to copy the general shape of it, and it was just ridiculous. You can see a picture of it on if you look at the new Deep Space Nine, Google it. They had some illustrations, and they those docking pylons. They're all connected at the top, so it looks like a damn globe, like a wireframe globe. And it doesn't make any sense. Why would you do that? That's where the ships are supposed to physically connect to the station at. And
Salty Tracker says, Darren, I have to disagree. They'll do it
looks like
full
a fucking spinning top.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm willing to bet that's what they will go with, something like that, so that they can sell the toy.
No, they look at this. And look at that. They look at that white guy.
Welcome, Salty Tracker.
Hey, I just have a question. Didn't they show the second base like in an episode of Lower Decks? Like, wasn't there something where they was Deep Space Nine and there was like another base nearby?
That's possible.
No, I don't remember that. Maybe
I did see.
I don't watch Rick and Morty in space, so I wouldn't know.
Rick and Morty in space.
Wait a minute.
I don't remember there being a new base.
Yeah, I see. I vaguely recall that. Like there was a shot in one of the episodes where they showed Deep Space Nine, but then there was another base like within spitting distance of it, and that there was some stuff that took place on that.
Well, it would make sense if they took if they took the original station and moved it back into Bajor's orbit, and then put another station at the mouth of the wormhole that was maybe better equipped to deal with that. Because
I'm doing a search right now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think replacing DS9 with a Federation of Starfleet built base station is probably a good idea long term.
Something state of the art.
Right, because I mean the Cardassian systems were already causing problems.
Well, having a great big proper mushroom star base out there would be a good idea, but you got to remember that Deep Space Nine still sort of belongs to the Bajorans. So that's what they redesigned it as, or the new station. So it has a vague shape similarity, but it's just it's terrible. It doesn't even have. That's the replacement of Deep Space Nine from the novel series.
Oh, from the novel series.
But you see, that doesn't even make sense because what is even the point of the pylons?
Exactly. Yeah, unless they're retractable or something. Yeah.
Those were documents.
And there's 4 of them on each side instead of only 3.
Mm-hmm.
So it's It wasn't inspired
by somebody who doesn't know what the
Granted, on Deep Space Nine, it seems to me that the pylons should curve out instead of in, but at least the pylons have a logical purpose.
Well, one of the things you got to keep in mind also is the Cardassians didn't have ships that were as big as for example, the Enterprise D.
Right.
They were closer to Kirk's size ships, and so I mean, it would make sense they could actually have 3 Gaylord class ships docked at the top pylons and on the bottom pylons too. But there was only room enough for like 1 nebula or 1 galaxy when they came there. But
right, and maybe a couple of Mirandas or something.
As long as they don't destroy the station and replace it, I guess whatever they come up with, I'll be like whatever. But I mean, if they say that it was destroyed and that it's gone forever, and this is what we have now, that'll be a mistake in my opinion.
No, Cisco said when
here, I'll share a screen real quick.
The Cisco said when soon to be joining the Federation, it was already going to build a planetary space dock there, and they want to use its name anymore.
Well, as a historical site, I mean, yeah. In the documentary, Ira Stephen Bear's idea was that it would become a shrine, an observation platform for the wormhole and such.
Right.
But
You see, that design makes absolutely zero sense.
It does. It doesn't. Yeah.
It looks like a core for. It looks like a warp core, not a warp core.
Right.
But right here, it says United Federation of Planets. Right here. So
if ships are supposed to dock around that massive docking ring. Yeah, then what is the point of having the spires, the pylons at all? Those pylons served a purpose on the original, design, and this one it's almost like they're doing it just to honor the previous one. And it's like, no, don't do that. Get rid of the pylons then.
Right.
Just
Same thing. I mean, even as quirky as like Space Station K7 was, every piece of it had a purpose, and that was something that I liked about all the old designs, is that they were all, and it's something I know you've said before, Darren, is that, hey, I'm good with ugly as long as it's ugly with a purpose.
Oh yeah, and I see no purpose for.
So that's weird. I don't even see this ring connecting.
It appears to be a massive terrarium in that thing too. If you look down in the lower part of your screen there, but I mean, there is no habitat ring. There is no habitat ring. They've only got 1 ring around it, whereas Deep Space Nine had, I think, 2 rings.
Planet in there.
Like they've got an ecosystem in there.
Right.
I also don't know the scale of this.
Well, based on what we see in those giant windows, the scale of that thing is immense. Like Deep Space Nine could probably fit inside that center ball.
This would be a runabout, right? This would be for like runabouts.
No, I think that could. I'll bet you a Miranda class could dock there.
Yeah, or it looks like a landing pad though. It looks like maybe a
Miranda.
That looks that actually looks like a hangar to me for housing their vehicles. But who knows? I actually think
that's how they did it in DS9. It would be a floor would come up.
Right. That would be like for a runabout, but the scale would be all wrong.
Or the bluish red Romulan. We saw a Romulan ship.
I'm thinking that station is probably about 50% bigger in circumference than Deep Space Nine. Like it could fit Deep Space could fit inside the outer docking ring. That space. That's how I view it. I don't think it's quite as big as the whole thing could fit inside the central dome. I don't think that's a.
I'm just looking at move your point of view so we can see the inside of that window there. So if you look at you can see a lake in there and land masses and stuff. That looks
or a pond.
Yeah, and so I'm sorry. To me, that seems like it's way too big.
Arboretum.
Keiko got her arboretum.
Yeah. And then if you consider that floating ring that LD was talking about, that's got to be several decks high.
Oh,
so I mean,
this is a half-ass Dyson sphere then.
Yeah, almost.
And Kronos the Unbannable has come into the panel just to post in the private chat.
Now, I will say
And then
that those pylons could just be housings for weapons arrays. I could see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see
that. But on the original Deep Space Nine, the
If they
pylons
want to
served
go for a purely military function,
or a defensive function. I mean, but I mean, on Deep Space Nine, the pylons were served a double purpose then because they housed a lot of the weapon systems and they were also docking pylons.
It's a Suliban technique where you get more than one spaceship connect like balls.
Wow.
I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not being serious here, guys. Come on.
No. Look, somebody looked at the kid's gyroscope and got a wet air up their ass.
Yeah.
And then that's where the noise comes from.
But I'm willing to bet, just like they took a design that a rejected design for the Enterprise and used it for Discovery, they might come up with something like that for Deep Space Nine if they show it there. I'm just not interested. It's not what I want.
Does anybody remember what episode of Lower Decks DS9 was in?
That's what I'm trying to remember.
I think it was
one of the higher ones.
It was a flashback too, wasn't it? It wasn't like a.
It was a flashback. It was in the beginning of the episode. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I got it right here. Okay. It was episode. Scroll down. CBS. Cupid. It was episode 5. Episode 5.
Cupid's errant. Okay.
Cupid's something or other.
Yeah, Cupid's errant arrow.
Errant, yeah.
Okay.
Ooh, yeah, that's right.
Were you looking for the shots?
You want the shot?
I'm bringing it up.
I got
but the goddamn episode is the episode that starts with the opening credits.
I just got the one where they're sitting at the table with what's her name in her hair and stuff.
Yeah, they had an Olympic class ship docked at it too.
Yeah,
as I recall. Yeah, I've got a screenshot of it here.
Right, this is the episode with Boimler's girlfriend.
Yeah, and for an animated show, I think when they actually depict ships that we're familiar with, I think they do a very good job. But my opinion is there should not be doing an animated show until you've got a successful live action show first. And they haven't done that.
But here's the problem, Darren, and I get where you're coming from, but the problem is that the only real fan of classic Star Trek is Mike McMahon, who's the guy behind this show. So what can we do? I mean, I'd rather get Lower Decks than more Discovery and Picard.
Okay, I'm not seeing.
I agree with Anti-Trucker.
The type of humor that cartoon is I don't care for it. It makes fun of Star Trek when you shouldn't have a show that makes fun of its own franchise unless you've got a successful one running. That's my opinion.
Yourself, then what can you make fun of?
I bet you see. I like that it doesn't take itself too seriously because I think that we as Trekkies and Trekkers do take ourselves too seriously, and I think that's where the whole "We Are Starfleet" fandom menace war. And in fact, the whole thing with with this whole crap with Discovery, with the war that started between the producers of the show and some of the fans started. It all started with honestly people taking themselves too seriously, and that's what I like about Mike McMahon is that he doesn't take himself too seriously. He's just another nerd like one of us, and he knows it. And I get it. I get what you're saying. I totally. I
don't think they're taking it too seriously. I don't think they're taking it seriously enough. That's my problem. They're so nonchalant with things, and you know as well as I do.
Themselves extremely seriously.
But not the material. They're not getting inside the material the way they should be. And humble people can do that.
The material isn't about what we think it's about. That's the difference.
Exactly.
They think that we think it's about space adventure and the future of humanity and stuff like that. They think it's all about pushing this agenda of diversity, and that's all Star Trek's about. And the problem is that no, diversity is a piece of it, but it's not the piece of it, and that's what they're kind of missing.
Yeah.
Hey, well, this is clearly Deep Space Nine, but I'm not seeing anything.
Okay, I don't know where. I swear I saw something that had Deep Space Nine and another base nearby. So I apologize if this isn't.
I think you might be thinking of another scene because I do remember.
Yeah, it might be the same episode and later on. I mean, can you scan around, Bird, and see?
Yeah, I'm going to, but
you might have read because I did send you a year or two ago my treatment for Star Trek Halibut, and in that one, Deep Space Nine was retired and was towed back to Bajor, and then they had a proper mushroom-shaped starbase in place of it. But
this wasn't that. This was something that I've actually seen. That's why.
Gotcha.
And I don't know if it was this or a different show, but there was something where there was another base that was nearby Deep Space Nine. And something happened there.
There was a starbase there because Cisco said.
Chief
Cook, you are so quiet.
You have been roboting this whole time, and that's why we have been talking over you because all we're hearing is static and noise.
Yeah, at first I thought you were an echo.
You might need to get off your phone and use your laptop or try to reboot or something because you're not coming in at all. No, it's funny because the only thing that I have left from Eagle Moss to collect really are star bases. I have the XL Deep Space Nine, which by the way, very nice. But it makes me want to get the Regular One base because I actually kind of like that one too.
I like that. That one is a nice, to me, intermediary between the like the K7 and the later stuff. I think.
Yeah, and I would like K7 as well, just because of its. I mean, I didn't think K7 was all that special until I saw Trials and Tribulations when they gave it the full special effects treatment of the 90s, and I'm like, oh, you could actually have a show on that now, and it would work, and then of course in the remastered Trouble with Tribbles, it's even more prominently displayed. I think that's really cool, but. No, it's interesting to me because the Regular One starbase was actually from the motion picture. They just turned it upside down.
Right.
I didn't realize that until like years later.
It's the one that was right by Earth that Kirk beamed up to.
Right. They just flipped it upside down. And I think it looks so much better upside down, or with the shafts on the bottom. But since there is no up or down in space, apparently.
Shaft should always be on the bottom.
Right. Makes it look more masculine.
Okay. That just sounded off.
No. Who made you the arbiter of off?
Absolutely, John Araki. It would have made more sense.
Yeah.
Nah.
Although the outer docking ring that the Defiant would dock at, that was for the bigger. I'd imagine the biggest ships would just dock there.
Truthfully, the Defiant should have had its own landing pad,
right,
on the outer dock. Because if you actually look at the scale, I think in my Defiant video I show this. If you actually show the Defiant to scale with the ship, you wouldn't be able to see it in an establishing shot.
Right. The Defiant base on the outer docking ring is like larger than. It's like the size of a Constitution class.
Oh, it's got almost the same mass as the Nebula, and the Nebula. If you compare the two, I mean the Defiant is itself more than half the size of the Enterprise D's saucer section, when it's nowhere near that big.
Well, hell, it could have its own.
Landing pad.
It could land, and then you just put it inside the damn station.
Yeah, and I thought that was neat when they did that. The
Defiant in the DS9 station.
It could fit inside the outer docking ring. It could actually fit inside that. They'd have to clear out some space and make a landing pad that would do it. It would work.
It only holds like 150 crew members. And
Yeah,
more.
you have to check out my video because
It's a tiny ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, let's not forget that the if you want to talk about stupidity when it comes to Starfleet scale, the Discovery is longer than the freaking Sovereign class ship and has a crew of what, 125?
But it's got a roller coaster inside it.
Yeah, I know.
That's why.
So they had to have plenty of room for the amusement park. So
yeah.
What was Deep Space Nine original name?
Tarek Nor.
Yeah, Tarek Nor was the Cardassian name.
Oh, before that, it was on card Epsilon 9. Then they changed it to Deep Space Nine.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, if you didn't know it, they was on card Epsilon 9. Somebody forgot that they used Epsilon 9 in the motion picture. Rick Berman said it, but they was on card Epsilon 9.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that's back when Paramount would hire people to try to keep that stuff straight for them. Oh, you can't call it this because this other thing over here was called that.
No, but all that should be written down in the series Bible, shouldn't it?
Or the series database at this point.
That's
they
why
should
you
have.
hire.
You know.
Yeah,
That's
they
why
should
you
have
hire somebody like Mark
Wikipedia.
Yeah, they should have their own like
Memory
private,
Alpha.
basically, like a memory alpha that only they could have access to for all their writers to be able to use. You log into it, and you got access to all these details, so that when you construct your story, you can actually make one that doesn't step on the toes of another one. But
that would require. The problem is that would require that.
Well,
they actually give a crap about that.
Well, people used to do that stuff for free for them. I mean, the Okudas kept their own database.
Right. Yeah.
That's what eventually turned into their tech manuals. But they kept track of all that stuff, and they would bring up things to writers when they could. But sometimes, if you're in a pinch, deadline pressure and all that, a great example of that was on Enterprise when they had the D7 in place of the D4. And there was a guy in their special effects department that went home and in one weekend he designed the D4, and it was I got Salty a model of that from Eagle Moss, and it would have totally worked. It looks like a Klingon battle cruiser, but it's got enough primitive piping and stuff on it to show that it's probably pretty fragile compared to the ones we're used to, and it was either too late for them to because he had to get paid for that work if they're going to use it, and apparently the budget was already set, or it was already paid for episode, and they wouldn't use it, and so they had to put in some asset that they had from Deep Space Nine, a digital model. And according to Berman, he said that when the hate mail, for lack of a better word, started coming in about that. Berman quietly went to the special effects guy and goes, "I don't ever want to see that ship on the show again." So yeah. What ended up being the D4 was supposed to be a Klingon tanker that they just removed the tanks from, and yeah. But I mean, there is an example of a problem that was not created by a lack of concern on the part of the people doing the special effects. That special effects guy wanted to create an authentic, period-specific Klingon battle cruiser. He was prevented from doing that because of essentially corporate bureaucracy and how people have to get paid, and union rules and things of that nature. So a lot of times I don't attribute some of the decisions that they make to a lack of concern or a lack of intelligence. It's sometimes they're trapped inside of a system that just doesn't let them make as good a product as they could have otherwise.
Yeah. And I mean, in fairness, we are talking about 50 years of 50 plus years of history that no human being understands all of, because as much as we like to pretend we all know all of it, we don't. And except for John DeMarco, apparently. But
he knows everything.
Yeah, but
wow.
But it would be nice if they did have at least a group of people that was, and it wouldn't it's not like you would have to pay these people top dollar. If you found a group of people, you could pay them, and I know this sounds like a lot, but from Hollywood numbers, this is like nothing dirt cheap. You could find a group of people you could probably pay between 50 and 100 grand a year, get a think tank of about 5-10 people, pull them from the fan base that are experts on each of the series, TOS, TNG, etc. You get 1 or 2 from each series to go over each script and do a pass and make sure that there's no big continuity gaffes. And and it wouldn't be that difficult. It would be very easy to find people because heck, and you know what? You even go out of your way to make sure that you have a diversity of opinions. You make sure you have people of different backgrounds. You have people that are Phantom Menace. You have people that are Weird Starfleet and people in between. It wouldn't be that hard to get a group of people. And since they would all want to strangle each other, you don't have to put them in a room together. You just pass the document through them all, make sure that you don't have a bunch of people that that can look at these things, and make sure you don't have massive issues. So when somebody wants to say that, hey, like when J.J. Abrams puts out a Star Trek film and spells Kronos with a K, someone can correct him. So
kill you, dumbass.
So somebody can actually point out that's not how you spell Kronos.
Mm-hmm. Well, the problem is they already tried to do that. They didn't want to listen.
No offense to our Kronos with a K.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But I've seen. That's not how you spell the Klingon homeworld. That's all.
Right.
Now they'll use a cue like that when they want to be cute about somebody's name, though.
Right. Well, didn't they misspell quarks in it was called Quark Bar instead of Quark's Bar in Picard? I think there was a bar that everybody assumed was maybe like Quark had managed to franchise his bar or something, and that it was on. I mean, it was enough like Quark's Bar to make people speculate, and the gal who was running it kind of reminded me of Impella, one of his Dabu girls, who's actually certainly dressed like one. Mm-hmm. But they do these things to vaguely be reminiscent, but then they don't come out and really explain.
Well, probably if you do Quark Bar, you don't have to pay anybody.
Probably.
Mm. Because quark, like the physics term, quantum.
Mm-hmm.
But and the thing is, the beauty of it is that you can write that into the universe, because guess what? The Ferengi are culture all about trying to pay for copyrights and stuff. And someone Quark could even say, "Hey, guess what? I didn't want to have to pay the franchise fees. So as long as I name each bar slightly differently, I don't have to pay a franchise fee."
Which is dumb, because if he owns the franchise, they're paying him.
Yeah, I know, but
he would not want that. But maybe it's a way of screwing over the Ferengi Commerce Authority.
Something to that effect. Yeah,
the taxes on it that he'd have to pay him.
Yeah, because we know
because Rom instituted taxes, and so
Rom did not institute taxes. Those were instituted before he became Grand Nagus.
Well, okay, you're right. But Rom is supportive of it.
Rom is just an idiot.
Yeah.
That's. I mean, he didn't have the votes for business, and I'm sure that Lita's running that fucking empire. I mean, with her big chest.
Brains.
Well, actually, Moogie's the one with the lobes in that family.
Probably, she's probably an advisor.
Yeah, but Moogie's dead by the time the Picard era, I would presume.
I don't know how long Ferengis live.
Yeah.
Well, from the looks of things, I would say that Moogie and was it Shrek?
Zach.
Zach.
Yeah, Zach and Moogie are.
I'd say Zach was older than Moogie.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I think Zach and Moogie are on their way out, and so Picard, as it is, looks like he's gasping for each breath. So
he's human. And with a bionic heart too, so that's got to suck, because you got to figure your heart is probably, let's say you keep it tuned up, it's working just as good as.
Well, now he's just 100% bionic.
Right, I know, but back when he was gasping for breath, like was because what's her face was pulling him up a flight of stairs, and like it's like all of his muscles and joints are a 90-year-old man's, but his heart has still got a 20-year-old man, functionality to it. That's got to suck for the rest of his body. Trying to keep that up.
Well, don't worry. For season 2, he's just got an entire robot body that will simulate being a 90-year-old man.
Which my heart's 21. My brain is 50. My kidneys are 96.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure out how long.
The first insult, if we see Quark, and I think we're going to, not Quark, fuck, can't be saying Quark. If we see Q in episode 1, the first slap in the face is how he's going to react to Picard. And is Q like not even going to mention anything? Like,
no, Q is going to mention. If Q does not mention that Picard looks like he's almost dead, then he's not Q.
No. Is he going to mention the fact that he's not human anymore?
Yes.
Right. Q could snap his fingers and give Picard his old body back too. They could totally undo the ending of that.
Not what
They're
I'm
not
saying.
going to.
Is he going to talk about the fact that
my
that's
money
not
is on
Picard? Is he going to go along with it and say, "You are Picard. That is you," and not go to him and say, "Who the hell? You're not Picard. You're just a fucking android with a copy of the message. You're not even Picard."
LD. The writers probably forgot about that. Okay.
Right.
They just wanted to put Q in so people like us who remember Q will tune in. They probably forgot about that whole robot thing.
My money is Q will bring up his age, but will not bring up the android body.
Yeah.
So you think Q won't even notice that he's a robot?
I think he won't care. I think they're going to basically hope we forget.
Yeah.
And what's going to happen is they're going to fuck up Q's dialogue. It won't match what we're used to, even though he says "Mon Capitan," and it's still John Delancey giving the kind of delivery that he always gave. But there's going to be humongous differences because there's humongous differences throughout these shows. And Captain Grimm is going to make a YouTube video comparing dialogue from Berman era Q with this new, ersatz version of Q.
Welcome to the end of the road not taken. Like, what the hell is that supposed to mean? Is that? I'd be pissed off if that's like a saying Q says at the end of season 2.
That's just more pseudo philosophical BS that Hollywood people write to try and sound important.
It wouldn't surprise me if the entire series is basically one extended version of what was the one that he where it was like It's a Wonderful Life, where Q shows Picard what would have happened if he hadn't lost his bionic heart or lost his human heart.
Tapestry.
Tapestry. It'll probably be all like that.
Here's the only way that this season 2 I think works for me. Honestly, because of the way that I think that season 1 I felt was an insult, because Picard, from Picard's own philosophy, I don't think that that's Picard in a robot body, because Picard's a freaking atheist, and so I don't believe that that's Picard. That's just a copy of Picard's memories inserted into a non-sentient computer program. Right. But the only way that it works for me as a season 2 is that this entire season is actually just an extended version of Tapestry. That what we're getting is Picard's death from season 1 extended out. So this is so Picard and Data have their little moment, and then Q shows up, and then everything we get is Picard's basically final moments after he says goodbye to Data.
Those people are not that smart.
I know they're not, Mr. Lindell, but I'm just saying that's what would save it for me. But I'm not. I don't think.
By the way, according to StarTrek.com, which is not canon in my book, Grand Nagus Zek was at least 100 years old.
Yeah.
And so he may have been Grand Nagus of the Ferengi Empire or Ferengi Alliance, whatever it's called, back during Kirk's era.
Right.
But
during Kirk's era, the Ferengi
season 2
weren't known really.
She was retcon.
They weren't. No.
He's going to retcon all of season 1. I'm telling you.
They are.
Season 1, Not going to happen. Watch.
You know, actually,
Mark
a
my
lot
words.
of fans wouldn't have a problem with Q being the
Neither
reason
would
for
I.
doing that.
LD, the
You know?
last
Neither would I.
time you went down this road, remember, you ended up hospitalized.
It's not manifesto. It's not. Just relax.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Q
Season
is
1, gone.
It's not going to
He's gonna,
happen,
you know,
LD.
snap that shit out of existence.
LD, it ain't going to
Gone.
happen.
They're
It's
going to
not-
double down on season
Mark my
1.
words. I've already mentioned it. I have the. I
It's
have
not going to happen,
bookmark.
LD. Mark my word.
I have the bookmark. Life of Matthews. I called it.
Okay.
Thank you. It's gonna happen.
LD, I will bet you a couple of hot cheese balls. It ain't going to happen.
You're gonna have to eat the whole rest of them at once, if I'm right.
No, what are you talking about? No, I ain't going to kill
I'll eat a whole
myself.
if I'm wrong.
Oh, Salty, nice shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's a,
I can't even see it. It's like
you're my
nighttime over there.
good friend. Wonderful ship.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's a diagram of the USS Hathaway. Anyway, yeah, sorry I don't have the lights up right now.
It's fine. He's trying to hide it.
I see it.
Oh, okay.
I see it. That's nice.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Well, anyway, yeah. So, yeah. LD is smoking crack, as you can see by his eyes glowing. He's had way too much.
He's in God mode right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, if I'm wrong, I'll do an entire stream like this.
What?
All right? I like that.
Guess what's
All
going to
right?
happen?
I'm wrong. Yeah, baby. What's going on?
Oh, so you turned off the filters? I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Turned off the
he's
filters.
clearly a Democrat. Yeah.
Exactly.
Jackass
Well,
party.
you do know, right?
Go to Jackass party.
I do have the anti-trucker. I have the anti-trucker one, right?
Go for it.
Hello! Yeah, that's right, baby. I'm the anti. Oh, wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Thank you, Bird.
Oh, I guess we had a miscommunication there.
I had nothing
Maybe
to
there's
do
a
with
power
it.
failure.
I didn't say a word.
One
Wow.
more. Wait, one more. You guys, can you see this? Oh, you can't see this one.
You're the
There we go.
Mutara Nebula?
Diversity.
Wow.
Diversity anti-trucker. Hello! How you doing? That's right. All the colors of the rainbow here. That's right. All right.
Where's
Let me go
Red?
back.
Where's Black?
Ah, there we go.
Oh yeah, there we go.
What's
Dr.
going on?
Manhattan. That's perfect.
Yeah, baby.
I kind of like
That works real well for you because
Had
you're
to
bald
not wear
head.
clothes.
Yeah.
You know, LD. I'm not a virgin.
Okay.
Say what?
That's all I'm
You're not a virgin?
We need
Yeah,
to-
you need this one then.
Okay. Just need to know.
All right. It's time to boot LD because now he's resorting to his new program with all the faces
Tim,
in
what's
order to
going on?
gain our attention, which kills conversation in the chat.
correct.
Oh, God forbid. Yo, who kills conversation?
You do.
Huh?
Oh my God.
Oh, what? Yeah, he doesn't want to say it. He knows it. All right.
So,
Who are you talking to?
I have no
I think he's
idea who he's
referring to
talking. I
you.
think he's just randomly talking. You know,
I'm trying to make it funny. It's not coming out funny, so I'm not going to
I
continue.
imagine that I sometimes try to imagine what LD sees, and I keep thinking of Zippity Doodah, Zippity A, the
like the little birds.
the birds flying around, and the cartoon Mary Poppins shit.
Yeah.
See,
That's just what he
Killing
sees.
conversation has to stop two people from talking. But when you have this guy or this guy on, it's only one person talking. So all I'm doing is stopping a monologue. Okay?
I got you a beard for a reason.
Yeah, I got it. It's right here.
What?
I got LD a long flowing beard to put on his face. I bought it off of Amazon and sent it to him so that it's to tell me when I've been talking too much.
Oh, okay.
And it's so uncomfortable he won't wear it.
Now, okay.
I thought you meant got him like a beard thing for whatever program he's using to
No.
on his face.
Physical beard that I think hooks around your ears. There it is.
Okay,
yeah.
now leave the beard alone. My favorite bass player passed away a few days ago.
That's sad.
So
Great. Now I'm hurting freaking Mr. Nondel's feelings. Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
it's
ZZ
too much
Top
like
was-
ZZ
Just
Top.
go back. Just go
Look
back
like
to your
fucking
ass
beta.
face.
No, I'm just waiting for the Kurtzman contract to end. I mean, having him sign another 5 years means I can just not have to worry about it for another 5 years.
Well,
Now, if they start taking away the old shows,
yeah,
especially the ones that I don't have on Blu-ray or any sort of physical media for, then I will get upset.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I don't
start
think
getting the physical media now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I want DS9 on
Blu-ray. Yeah.
I'd like to see them do a remaster.
I mean, it was stunning. It was the effects in the documentary for the footage that they did remaster was stunning, and it's like, but you know, would they do that? Would they spend the money to have it all, you know, all 7 seasons completely?
That's a lot of money, man.
It's a lot of money, and if they're
not when you have $900 billion.
And I don't know that they actually made money when they did it.
Park.
I don't know that if they actually made money doing it with TNG, because I don't
think they did.
Yeah, because those Blu-rays. I mean, I think, you know, when they came out in DVD and I bought them, they were over $100 a season. But then when they came out on Blu-ray, they were down to like $49.99 a season.
Right. They made money on TOS, but on TOS we weren't everybody wasn't streaming everywhere.
That too, and I'm sorry. When I show TOS to a new audience like my nieces and stuff, I always go with the remastered version because
it made such a huge difference.
It's going to keep their attention a lot better than the old effects, you know. But what's nice about the Blu-rays is you can watch them with the old effects too if you want, you know. And I love the fact that they did that. So preserve the past and while at the same time giving us something a little bit new.
And you can show people what a huge difference it makes.
Well, Thomas, they can keep Voyager, but I want DS9.
Drink Moxie, kids.
Yeah, honestly, Voyager is my least favorite of the second generation of Trek, but I would really like to see a remastered Enterprise, to be honest.
Enterprise was already filmed in high definition.
Yeah.
That's why it was the first one out on Blu-ray.
Right.
Now, it didn't look particularly good in high definition. Can they
rescan it or something to get a better resolution out of it?
Not after season 2, because starting with season 3, I believe it was, they started filming it digitally, and that's where, interestingly, the HD looked a lot better starting with season 3 and 4. But those first 2 seasons were still filmed on film. And so those could be beefed up, but there was something about the way they filmed it. It just didn't look as almost like they locked it in at 720p and upconverted it to 1080p, because it's high definition, but it's not high definition. It's weird.
High definition with an asterisk by the end.
Right. Yeah. If you look at the reviews of it,
I just think that from an effects perspective, I think Enterprise is the best looking show of Generation 2 Trek. I like the look of, especially the interior of the ship, and I like the ship design, and I like the design of many of the alien ships on Enterprise. But unfortunately, like Voyager, I just could never get into that. It's like Lore put out, I don't know if you saw his whole thing about Janeway today.
I don't watch him.
Yeah. Well, he put out a whole thing about, how horrible Janeway is. That's right.
Okay, so he's borrowing SF Debris' riff. Okay.
Laura's been against Janeway for a long time.
Got a donation here from Life with Matthew. Who I will say, I was warned, Life with Matthew and Professor Brainy Specs may be trying to overthrow me.
Oh, good.
But anyway, Life with Matthew donated $1.49 and said, "I won't let my kids watch TOS until they are 30 years old. Way too much swearing. Nor will I let them watch the animated series because it has dolphins. Hail Kuroga."
Yeah.
Enterprise has its problems. Everybody in this room knows it, but I still defend it like you defend your retarded kid brother, because and I don't mean that literally, but nobody's retarded. I'm talking about. But anyway,
I was
you know,
I don't know of anybody that's been defending a disabled kid brother, but
yeah. But you know, one of the things that show did take advantage of, especially in the third season, was the advantages of having a fully digital ship model. I mean, the damage that ship took in season 3. I mean, it had more sustained damage than any other Star Trek show ship. I mean, you could say that, you know, Janeway's ship in Year of Hell was sustained damage, but I'm talking about throughout a season. You know, by the end of season 3, they showed it in orbit around a planet, and there were holes in it where you could see the planet through the holes. You know, you know, I mean, there were areas of the ship that were completely cut off from the rest of the crew, and you know, they really
actually had a Year of Hell.
Yeah, they did. And you know, I honestly think that season 3 began redeeming that show in ways that we still haven't seen another Star Trek show. I mean, Discovery is all digital ships too, and they don't do what they did over at Enterprise. You know,
no, they just have magic robots that can fix anything.
Oh, yeah, the astromech droids.
Yeah, which suddenly showed up in season 2, in season 2, and it's like, wait, when did they get magic robots? Where did they come from?
Well, I thought they had them in season 1.
They did, because the robots changed the name on the hull to ISS Discovery.
Yeah. Oh, okay, I thought those were just guys in spacesuits for some reason, maybe in season 1. But but it's like, why do they have magic robots?
One of the things that I think was always great about Star Wars, or Star Trek rather, was originally it had limitations. The technology was advanced, but it had limitations. You know, and
something broke. Scotty grabbed a wrench.
Yeah, well, even and so if something was broke, it wasn't completely fixed right away either. I mean, they had to. He could make makeshift repairs. He could get it kind of working until they go to a starbase. But Discovery has no, limitations. It seems like the ship is whatever they need it to be.
Well, now with programmable matter, that's literal.
Well, right. I mean, now they're so far in the future that it doesn't even matter. But I mean, you know, but even when they were in 10, 11 years before Kirk, I mean, having the astromech droids.
That's because they had such much better crew members.
Yeah.
You know, Michael Burnham, Tilly, Jet Reno.
Right. Yeah.
These people, it's nothing they can't do if they put their mind to it.
You want to know the most interesting sets on Discovery, I will say, were those bizarre crew quarters that Burnham had shared with Tilly. I'm like, these are your junior officer quarters. I mean, this looks like a cargo bay that's just got some cots thrown in it.
Yeah.
and I kind of like that. I'm like, that actually is what I would kind of expect for something that was 10 years before Kirk. And then their cruise mess, how small it was. The fact that they had replicators is beside the point as far as the design here. But I mean, I thought that those were the only 2 spaces that I actually thought, okay, this almost seems appropriate for Discovery.
I'm back.
We can all talk now. LD's back.
There we go. Oh, you were holding up for me? Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
You know, I'll give Discovery some credit. I actually liked certain tiny little things about it. I actually thought the term Black Alert was interesting. You know, the idea that, okay, we're going to use an experimental system that's off the books. We're going to call it Black Alert.
Got a call coming in.
Yeah. But
I thought that was moronic myself.
You didn't like Black Alert?
It's experimental alert.
I mean, Blue Alert would have worked just fine. But Black Alert has this, I'm thinking of Black Ops, you know, and things like that. I mean, if they had a piece of equipment or a system on board that not everybody was supposed to know about, you know, that was top secret, I thought that was kind of cool. I didn't like that the hull number was, had ended in 31. Everybody, I mean, thought it was a Section 31 ship, you know.
A Blue Alert's already taken.
Well, Blue Alert is used for any non-combat ship emergency. So, for example, Voyager went to Blue Alert when they landed the ship for the first time because they were going to be going through atmosphere and hitting the ground. You know, and I think Dr. Crusher called for Blue Alert during a contamination protocol or something. I don't remember exactly. But Blue Alert is just generally any non-combat emergency, and it's very seldom used on Star Trek, but it is there.
Okay, so not quite an old shit moment.
Right, like if you're not in a combat situation at Red Alert and you're about to hit a planet, you'd call for Blue Alert. If you're at Red Alert, you're already
you should go yellow.
No, yellow alert is a combat alert, but it's not
potential combat alert.
Right. It's like get ready for a red alert. Basically, is what it means.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, one of the things I love about Star Trek 2 is when they showed us what the ship does at Yellow Alert. When Kirk calls for Yellow Alert, they show a defensive grid going over the dome of the Enterprise, and things like that.
Show people taking the grid off of, getting the torpedo tubes ready, but stuff like that.
Yeah, and again, that's back when we had some pretty good Star Trek back then, when they did stuff like that. But
no, people that knew what they were doing.
Lorca was actually pretty cool until his big secret was revealed. I mean, I like the fact. Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that he had back when we thought it was just a war condition where his eyes were super sensitive to light. I thought that was interesting. I didn't like that it became a signature element of people from the Marvel Universe.
Turn the camera off.
I also like that he didn't have any chairs in his office. He stood up and worked, because that's how I like to work.
And that's how a lot of captains and military leaders tend to work.
Right.
Those that get things done.
Right. I mean, when I was in the service, I was more comfortable standing. I would stand and watch a movie rather than sit and watch a movie.
That explains a lot.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I'm sitting down now is because I don't have a desk where I can move my unit up.
I used to like to stand and work. Unfortunately, I can barely stand at all now. But now, I used to prefer standing all the time.
But yeah, Lorca was the most interesting part of Discovery, and that's why they had to destroy the character.
It's funny that Discovery, with the first 2 seasons, accidentally made 2 really compelling white male leads, and so they had to quickly get them off the show. So that because I think that Anson Mount's Pike may well have been on for season 3, if not for the fact that everybody loved him.
And I didn't buy that they tried to fix the whole we have holographic communication systems on the Enterprise on this show, but not on Shatner's show by Kirk. Pike simply saying, "I want them all removed." It's like they're talking to a ghost. Let's just rely on screens. And no, because he was we saw other ships and other places in Starfleet where there was nothing like that too. Yeah. But then again, somebody could argue that you look at Deep Space Nine, for example. There are no holodecks on Deep Space Nine. The only ones on the station were owned by Quark, and you had to schedule time with him.
But that's because it was Cardassian facilities, and Cardassians obviously didn't have holodecks.
Right, and also the station for the first couple of years didn't have any Federation weapons until, surprise, surprise, when the Klingons attacked. Hey, now we've got 5,000 photon torpedoes and it's a great stuff.
That's not quite correct. They got the weapons after that little engagement at the wormhole with those Cardassian ships, because all that stuff was like.
Well, first they bluffed them, and then they actually installed them.
Thoron fields and Duranium shadows. I mean, it looked like they could have weapons emplacements, but they only had 4 torpedoes. And O'Brien even says that. He's like, launch a spread of 5 torpedoes, Kira says, and he's like, we only have 5 torpedoes. And he goes, she knows we're not going to win this with torpedoes, Chief. And it was a fun episode, but they didn't get the weapons until Way of the Warrior.
I think the next season, right?
It was season 4, because it was the season in which Worf joined the cast, and the first time we saw all the weapons emplacements was when the ship fought off a Klingon attack.
Right.
And that was when, of course, Gowron had his nose out of joint.
Well, they were installed before then, but yeah.
They were installed before, but the first time the audience saw them.
When we got the...
They actually...
Defiant.
Actually, they beefed up the weapon systems when they figured out just how dangerous the Dominion was.
Right.
Yeah.
But we didn't know as an audience they had been doing this until that episode. When Cisco says to Garon, we've had a year to prepare for a Dominion attack and we're ready now. So that was all going on behind the scenes or in between scenes.
Which makes sense. I like the fact that they gave it time.
Right.
That they, because they didn't fall for the trope that happens way too often in these types of things where they the next episode, we're ready now. It's like, no, they actually took a full year and it's like, okay, now we're ready.
What pissed me off is you had that awesome consciousness from the probe, the one that O'Brien put in slavery in a dog pound. So I always thought they were going to do something with that, like get the AI, the computer. It wasn't going to be like it was a Cardassian computer, right? And he kept fighting with the damn computer. And then that consciousness took over and all the shit happened. And I was like, oh, cool. Hopefully they bring this back later where the dog, or for whatever you want to call it.
It was almost like what they do with Moriarty.
And starts controlling the station all super badass and you know what I mean?
I forgot to tell you, LD, I'm going to have to run here in a minute, but I have a friend of mine sent me an article that I thought you'd be very interested in because you guys know What If, which I've been very, very excited about. I know that Darren's looking forward to this because it's one of Marvel's premier comics. But What If premieres this next week. Starting with I think the What If Sharon Carter got the Super Soldier serum. But one of the things that they've released recently was going to be what if Mephisto was behind the whole thing with WandaVision. So definitely something to keep an eye on.
Look what you did.
I read an article. I seldom chime in on articles, but I think this was on CBR or maybe it was Newsarama, which is a comic book fan site that's now owned by essentially Disney. So they're there to generate buzz. But they said that in the Hulk's next appearance, he's going to be sporting an upgrade. I'm thinking, an upgrade for the Hulk. Okay, is he going to be back to normal, or what? Or is this And here they're saying that they're replacing his burnt arm with a bionic one.
And it's part of one of the what ifs.
Why? No, that was the article said. It was like and I'm like, that is not an upgrade for the Hulk. The Hulk would be weakened by it'd be a downgrade.
Right.
I mean, and you point out that in the comics the Hulk's healing power is actually even better than Wolverine's, and such. But apparently, I'm like, I don't think Feige's that dumb, especially now that they've got the full rights to the Hulk back from Universal.
Yeah. Right.
The Hulk actually should be the face of the Marvel universe until they can get X-Men off the ground. And by the way, has anybody seen what Henry Cavill looks like as Cyclops? Apparently, he announced that he's playing Cyclops in the forthcoming X-Men movie, and they put a.
I haven't heard that they actually made that announcement. I haven't heard that.
He tweeted it.
Oh, very cool. I don't. Yeah. Twitter is such a toxic world.
Yeah.
I've got a hard break at 8 p.m. in 15 minutes. So
I know what I look like Cyclops.
Yeah. But what I like about this is that because the idea of him being the first guy officially cast also seems to indicate that we're going to be getting, because a lot of people don't know this, but before Wolverine came on the scene, Mr. X-Man was Cyclops. He was the coolest member of the X-Men. And I'm hoping that they take a slow burn with X-Men on the Marvel Studios side, that they give us a good 2 or 3 movies with just the original 5 to really establish them, and then as soon as it starts going stale, then you start bringing in the new generation to keep it going.
Let me ask you this though, Darren, on that, because while Henry Cavill is that's high caliber stuff to get him as Cyclops for sure, and so I would think that that's a good sign that they're not going to just turn Cyclops into the "you're a dick" joke, but on the flip side of that, he's a bit old.
He's wearing a mask most of the time.
I know, but I'm just thinking about the fact that are we going to get, because we're talking about Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters, not Charles Xavier's School for Gifted Middle-Aged Kids. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying Henry Cavill is too old to play an MCU character. I'm just saying that Cyclops, as an entry point, should probably be in his 20s.
You're
I liked
right.
him better when he was a teacher at the school.
Yeah,
but then you should have the whole X-Men team established.
Right. He might be an instructor. He also might be the oldest of them. Who knows? We don't know exactly what's going on, but I just think it bodes well so far. Because one of the things that Fox, I think, made a real mistake on with X-Men was going with basically the most popular X-Men right away in their initial movie, so that people think the original team is Storm, Cyclops, and Wolverine and all these guys, and Jean Grey. I mean,
let's bring back the original X-Men.
I agree.
And actually, what I think would be a good first X-Men movie? Bring back the original X-Men and actually do the original Uncanny X-Men story. Have the original X-Men in trouble and start with Charles Xavier recruiting a new team to rescue him.
Right. Could do that.
I mean, it doesn't have to be the Krakoa or however you say it story, but something along those lines. It could even be a Magneto story, since that's what they always want to go for. But, something to where the X-Men have been beaten and Charles Xavier is desperately trying to bring together a new team to rescue them.
Well, they could try that too. I mean, it's Feige is, unlike with movies like Black Widow and Shang-Chi and Eternals, he's gonna play the cards very tight to his chest, like he did with the first generation of them. I don't think he understands what X-Men is. He knows.
Right. He knows everybody wants to see him.
Yeah, and I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't go with Fantastic Four first and let X-Men brew a little bit longer, because I'm a big FF fan. I'm actually more of an FF fan than I am an X-Men fan.
I'm an FF maniac. So.
Oh yes. But I mean, another guy, and I know he's.
See, but right here is the FF Omnibus right here for the first 50 issues.
I've got some behind me as well.
Yeah.
But the other thing that I was thinking of, and I think I got you trade paperback. I didn't get you any more because they were too expensive. But Joss Whedon's X-Men.
Yeah, the first two.
Even though it's very Whedon and and even though right now his name is sort of box office poison, but basing anything off of his run would also, incorporating some things in his run would work as well.
I could see it.
Maybe not right away. Wait until his name is a little less toxic, and then.
I just don't like the White Queen being. I'm sorry. Yeah. I know that. I get why you like it, but I don't like her being a hero character. I think it's because I'm just too old school.
Marvel's thing is turning popular villains into good guys.
I know, but I don't like that. I don't.
Black Widow, Hawkeye, Wolverine.
But Wolverine. Wolverine was a bad guy in one issue of one comic.
Two issues.
Okay, 2 issues.
Hulk 180 and 181.
Fine. It was a 2-part story, but it was one story.
But he fought the Hulk. That was his debut. He fought the Hulk, and then
which I still think that should be his intro to the MCU. I think that should they absolutely Wolverine's intro to the MCU needs to be him fighting the Hulk.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But and in fact, if they're going to give the Hulk a bionic arm, that should be the reason why Wolverine cuts his arm off. But that's. I mean, I don't want to see it happen, but that would be the
No,
only reason
no.
I could see it.
The only reason I want to see Shang-Chi is because the Abomination is in it, because I want to know more about that, and I want to know why
I
he
do
looks
like what
more
they're
like...
doing with the rings, though. I do think the ring.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a cool take on the 10
Bracelets?
rings.
Not the rings,
Yeah.
the bracelets.
Having them be bracelets instead of actual rings on your fingers.
They're
I think
still
is-
rings, LD. They're just not finger
Yeah.
rings.
Right.
Right.
There was all kinds of speculation, back in when the first Iron Man movie came out, and the whole 10 Rings terrorist group, and was the Mandarin going to show up? And somebody even predicted that each of his rings was going to be like tiny arc reactors.
Right.
It had, and of course, there was they couldn't figure out a cool way of bringing in the real Mandarin back then, so they did the
without
whole,
being racist. So
without the whole fake. But I mean, sorry, go ahead.
We're getting close to that 8 p.m. So let me just go through. Captain Trek, anything you'd like to say before we go?
Thank you for having me on. Be on the Morning Brew, 6 a.m. Central.
Sweet. Mr. Londell?
As always, I'm having fun with this stuff. So, you know where I am now. Don't ask any questions. Just go sign up.
And I'm putting in the link to Mr. Londell on Odyssey. Darren, anything you'd like to say?
I've been mostly taking the summer off due to some personal things, and I have started a whole bunch of videos, just haven't finished them. So hopefully I'll be able to get those out soon. Got a Star Trek one planned here soon as well, and also one that has to do with Blizzard Entertainment and alternatives if you're an MMORPG player and you'd rather not give Blizzard your money right now. So that you can look for that from me here soon, hopefully. So
sweet. LDG or not LDG? Anything?
Hey guys, yeah. Well, I was gonna be on the Rumble, but it's got postponed till next week. Update: Admiral. Ambassador Elwing just DM'd me. He said he's just dealing with pain in his leg. It's pretty bad. They're waiting for the X-rays to come back, but he said don't worry because he's had worse. So he just doesn't know what it is yet. He's waiting for the results. And on that note, might be hanging out. Don't know who's streaming. Maybe I start a stream or whatnot. We'll see. Just stay close. And don't worry, because guys, you won't have to wait longer for Prometheus. You know why? Because I found Prometheus.
I am Prometheus.
Oh, please.
Salty Trekker.
Top that, Salty. Good. There you go. That's good. Stick with that.
Yeah. Thinking so. So honestly, big shout out to my subscribers that helped me get this thing. I can't remember what it's called. Speed Editor. It's going to help me edit videos. I've been playing with it today a little bit. It does help me a lot because I don't need as much dexterity with my hands to edit videos. So thank you guys that have helped me with that. And I'm going to eat something in a minute and then do a short live stream tonight. Tomorrow night we'll be doing movie night with Matthew, and then just keep trekking on. They're starting me on MS treatment. They're getting me an injector because I'm going to have to start taking injections 3 times a week. Not looking forward to that. This stuff, no joke, man. This drug that I'm taking, retail price $6,000 a month. So hopefully the insurance covers most of that, and that's going to be fun. But yeah, no freaking joke. And then if that doesn't work, we start cycling through other drugs and stuff until we find something that hopefully gets me to be able to be back to work. The goal ultimately is to get me to a point where I can get back to work by the end of next month. The reason is that my short-term disability runs out at the end of next month. If that doesn't happen, I go into long-term disability. If I go into long-term disability, pay stays the same, my insurance benefits stay the same. However, I'm no longer employed. And so the good news about that is I will still get paid from the company that I work for 2 years. However, at the end of that 2 years, I basically would have to go on state disability at that point. So I don't want it to come to that if I can avoid it. But, just kind of working on it. So thoughts and prayers from all of you that have done it. I appreciate it. And the support that you guys have thrown out, I really appreciate it. But we're just taking it one day at a time. And honestly, just trying to have some fun online. And movie night with Matthew tomorrow night is going to be some fun. I promise. It's not going to be all complaining and whining about drugs and injections and crap like that. Maybe just a little bit.
Okay, but you're going to stream in a little later, is that?
I'm going to try to. I need to make something to eat for dinner, and then I'm going to stream for a little bit. Mrs. Anti-Trekker's out right now, so I'll stream until she gets back. She's out with Joshua right now.
Mrs. Salty Trekker.
I'm sorry, Pepper. I did adopt your suggested name, Darren. So yeah, she is Pepper Trekker, not Mrs. Salty Trekker, because it makes sense. Oh, and by the way, the official salt of Salty Trekker is Blum Loco Chili Lime Salt. I really like this stuff. So,
what about your computer? Are you getting that back from Ashurion anytime soon?
Hopefully. So, Ashurion does have the computer. They said they should have it fixed within 5 to 7 days, and then on its way back to me. Which the last time they said that, it was a month before they sent it back to me.
Gotcha.
Chief Cook, anything you'd like to say before we go tonight? Chief
Cook's asleep.
Okay. Well, with that, guys, thank you all so much for hanging out. Thank you for Chief Cook says if they do reboot X-Men, do they wear the original uniform?
I don't think it's 100% necessary. I think that as long as they keep the right color scheme, it's fine.
Proper personality.
Right. I mean, yeah, I would have preferred Henry Cavill play the Punisher over Cyclops, but he's solid.
And if anything, they've shown that in the MCU they can keep the spirit of what the costume looks like and make it work. I mean, if you look at Captain America, you look at Iron Man, you look at Thor, you look at all the core characters, they are recognizable as their character. So I'm not afraid that they're going to look like a bunch of goth kids, like they did in the Foxverse. So.
Yeah. That was a shame what they did to Rogue.
Don't even get me started about the Fox X-Men movies are dead to me.
Yeah, the first two were okay, but I mean,
yeah.
With that, guys, have a great night. Qapla All, Bird and Panel out tomorrow. Bed Life, normal time.
Hail Karoga.
Hail Karoga. But wait, there's more. The video might be over, but there's more fun to be had. First, please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and have clicked that bell icon to get notifications of new videos in your YouTube feed. Share this video on social media to help this channel fight the algorithm that favors big media. Also check out www.birdoprey5.com for links to my other channels, various social media accounts, merch store, Dear Bop, affiliate links, and all your Birdo Prey 5 needs. At the main Birdo Prey 5 YouTube channel, you can find all sorts of live streams and unlisted videos, YouTube membership options, and a community section with polls and updates on the channel. On the secondary channel, Birdo Prey 5X, you can find overflow content that doesn't always make the main channel. Subscribe to both channels, please. Thanks for watching. Remember, I stream almost every day. This is Birdo Prey 5 saying goodbye, world. Until next time. P.S. Hail Sassy, hail Charlie, And of course, hail Kuroga.